Yeah, so good. The comic of Civil War, so basically it goes Team Stark, Team Cap. Anyway, Cap is against it, Stark's for it, until Cap dies and Spider-Man turns on him.
Alright.
Everyone goes with Spider-Man.
Okay, Strahd. Where we're up to, or where you're up to. Having spent the longest 2 days in the history of campaigning, pottering around Vallaki, reconsecrating the church, we had a short foray into altruistic child education at the orphanage, went, fuck this, they're all useless, and came back, slaughtered some vampires, accidentally also murdered Henrik, but, you know...
We didn't murder him, the vampires did.
You then fed him to the toads.
Hey, we disposed of his body.
You had options, one of which was taking him to the church. You opted for feeding him to the toads. But, you know, anyway, you got the bones back.
Absolutely trash.
Sorry, so you got the bones back. You reconsecrated the church.
No, you weren't.
Etherdwe and Harleen went shopping in the creepy toy shop and managed to distract Blinsky long enough for Etherdwe to replace the doll that they stole in the first place. So that's now back in the toy shop.
Yep.
And then you went on a bit of a brief excursion around a haunted house and discovered an old town historian called Herod, who appears to have died at the hands of the previous Burgomaster, and for telling the truth in his history, and the Baron did not like the truth, and he wants avenging / laying to rest. You sent off a flock of owls in an inconspicuous manner around Vallaki, and have eyeballed the Burgomaster's mansion, which appears to be a house with people coming and going from it without much to report back. And you've watched Izek Strasny, the head of the guard, leave the Burgomaster's house and go to the guard tower at the east gate where you originally came in. He seems to be playing cards and drinking.
If I remember correctly, he likes to spend certain amounts of time with children.
No, he appears to buy dolls from Blinsky. They will be very specific about that. He appears to be buying dolls that the doll that you found looks like Harleen, and that the Herod, who basically now spends his time cruising around town spying on people, apparently because nothing better to be done, a bit of haunting, is like he's been doing that for a number of years, has been buying dolls. So there's nothing particularly about Izek and children, just that Izek buys dolls from commissions dolls from Blinsky's shop. And
he's just like a weird collector, like Funko Pops or something.
Anyway, Harleen has gone. You guys, I think, you've got an invite anyway to the Burgomaster's for the evening to show yourselves as new strangers who've arrived in town and made a bit of a name for yourselves, like sorting out things going on at the Wizard of Wines, restoring the wine supply back to the city, turning up after curfew on your first night, putting up a notice to sell a windmill on the notice board. You've been noticed and have been invited to the Baron's house. Harleen has decided that she's not going, but has gone to case out the guardhouse and see if she can sort of tail Strasny without getting caught. So we'll see how that goes next week. Okay. So where are you up to and what are you doing?
So what time of the day is it roughly, Emma?
It is early evening, late afternoon, early evening.
What time do we notice the event? Is it tonight, the Burgomaster's thing?
So the Burgomaster's been inviting you for dinner since you've arrived, and you've paid a whole load of children to keep going, yeah, we'll be there definitely tomorrow. And then you opted to go to Vasily von Holtz's for dinner instead. So that'll go down well.
Have we RSVP'd?
You had, Zephyr went and RSVP'd, and then...
Okay, so what time do we have to be there?
Oh, so
Now, or-
yeah, and it's
Now.
early evening.
I'd say we head there now.
I say we stand them up for about another week. If they have no fish bottom time.
Is this the
No, I think
same
we've
day?
seen
we
two
did
nights
the battle?
in a row. I think that's enough to count.
Yes, because you went there in the morning.
Is there?
Because obviously
I was gonna
So
say,
you-
my spells are looking a little light.
Is there anything
Yeah,
still
So-
on?
looking a little low on resources.
So you,
Let's just go anyway.
so you
Worst
had a
case
short
scenario,
rest.
fireball, just blow the whole thing
You
down.
you blew up. So you killed all the vampires.
I still
You
got
went
some
back.
dirt left.
You rehallowed the church. You had a short rest, rehallowing the church, and then you went back into town. You guys went and put the doll back in Blinsky's shop, and you guys went, "Ooh, haunted house. We'll go and scope that out." So it's now sort of early evening.
And they've been asked by the ghost there too. You
Is
see
there-
why his parents
is
were-
there-
And he said that he knows the location of a book that can give you information about Strahd, and a ring that he'll tell you the location of if you can help sort out what happened to him.
Is there any in town here?
Yes.
Is there anything open, or is it all closed up for the day?
No, things would still be open.
Is there a smithy?
Yep.
Could we nip by that on the way to the Burgomaster's house?
Yes.
Like, Burgomaster would be a really cool member of the shop.
Yep. You can go to the smithy if you want to go to the smithy.
I'll come to
Da, da,
those
da.
as well.
Okay.
So the smithy was sort of so you've got this area that you were in with Vasily von Holtz's house and the haunted house in the sort of the furthest corner, and then Blinsky's toy shop. The smithy was over in the town square where the stocks are. So you're heading back over there.
Yes, please.
Okie dokie. So you've been there before. So it's Thimdall's Armaments was the smithy. I can pull you up a map if you want, but don't really need it. So Thimdall was the dwarf who works there, and there was Rowley is the current blacksmith in charge. Pearson Rowley. And prefers to be called Rowley as the town's blacksmith, with his assistant Horick Grunch, who works there. And they said that they could probably have a go at sticking a hammerhead onto the staff of healing, but it might not ever work again, was the last time you went there.
Actually, I ducked in and got some iron filings.
You did, you got some iron filings, that's
So I
right.
had a chance to use when I came to
Yeah.
play.
And there's a big sign above the door that says weapon sales are reported to the Burgomaster, and that's signed Isaac.
Okay.
Yep.
Hello, Mr. Smith, sir.
Good evening, good afternoon. Well, good afternoon.
I'm wondering if you could help me with doing something with this dagger, and I produced the fine dagger that I found in the No, it was before that, I think. Where were we before Herod's place?
Vampires.
Yeah, the vampire's place. It was like a fine sort
The
of
Undertaker's different.
Yeah, it was
dagger.
the Undertaker.
Yes. Can you?
We're going to sell the Undertaker's dagger in the armament
Is
shop.
this like super recognizable? Like when you say a fine dagger, is it just like well made, or is it like,
We'll see.
distinctive? Oh, great.
Can you silver this dagger for me, please?
He looks at it and he turns it over, and Horick looks over his shoulder and he goes, "Oh, well, that looks familiar. That does. Oh, where did you come by this?"
I'm going to cast guidance.
You'll hear a very soft whisper behind you. Don't fuck this up. And your body just breaking on top of it.
Okay.
Does anyone have prestidigitation?
I found it.
I mean, technically the truth.
Do I have to
Can you roll a deception check?
With a D4 with a D6.
D4 and D6.
Guidance is D4, bardic inspiration is D6.
23.
I don't think he can actually, unless he gets a crit, which he hasn't. He's like, oh, lucky. You don't come across a weapon like this. We've, sold one or two over the years. Feel like it can be a dangerous place.
Yeah.
Exactly. Careless as somebody to lose one of those and you just find it lying around.
Exactly. A little fellow like me, I need to look after myself with, bad stuff around.
So, silvering, you say? I mean, well, we can
Yeah.
do that. It'll cost you a bit. I mean, it's not a cheap process. There's dipping, and then there's smelting, and then there's more dipping.
Going to insight that. Guidance. I'm not going to say no.
Extra time?
19 on the inside. Is he lying about it being an expensive process?
No.
Well, what if I was... So what are we... what do you call
That's
it?
Making sure.
Well, he's the only man in town who can do it,
Okay.
and it's an expensive process.
What are we talking expensive-wise?
Well-
Trying to make sure he wasn't ripping my little friend off.
It'll cost it, if you want me to do a good job of that,
Well, that would be preferable.
it's going to be 150 gold pieces, that.
150 gold pieces. What if I was to supply the silver myself?
What silver have you got?
Produces like a handful of silver coins.
And he smiles and he goes, well, you see, the silver that we would use to, do this weapon would be a lot more pure than the silver that you've got there in your pocket. So you'd need, 1,000 of those silver coins.
Did someone steal a silver cup or chandelier or something from the death house we started in? I swear I remember this happening.
Did somebody steal?
I mean,
The answer is...
I would say more than likely, if someone took it, Harleen's got it.
Yeah.
Are you saying that the local authorities have been debasing the currency in pure silver?
No, I'm saying that the amount of...
Surprisingly comes out of the mouth of a
When did this
8-year-old
child
or
read an
whatever.
economics book?
I'm saying that when you get rid of all the impurities, the only reason anybody would want a silvered weapon around these parts if you're going out hunting werewolves. And if you're going to be doing that, you need proper silver, real pure. So you'd need to smelt out all the impurities. That would take... You can give me your silver if you want to, but it will cost you about 1,500 silver pieces, give or take.
I see where you're going at. Well, do you have any silver daggers pre-made?
Well, we don't tend to stock them. We tend to make them custom because people like to be, they're attached to their weapons, generally speaking. Sometimes they'll want us to craft them something particularly special, which we can do, and silver it. If you want me to make you a silver dagger, I can do that for you. That'll cost you 200 gold pieces. You're providing the dagger. I'm giving you a discount.
Yeah. What if I was to give you, I'm happy to provide the dagger. I think that seems the most sensible option here. It's a quality weapon.
It's a beautiful dagger. It almost looks like one I've made. He's
Yeah.
still looking at us.
What about if I was to give you 80 gold pieces for the silvering?
Well, I could maybe silver half of it for that.
Only a boy after all.
I could maybe silver half of it.
Half of it.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a particular item you want to haggle over.
Do you want the top half silvered or the bottom half silvered?
All I've got.
I've never hunted a werewolf. I can't testament to its use as a weapon.
Trust me, you want, if you're going to face a werewolf, you want the
I'm
whole
a
dagger.
young orphan street boy.
Uh-huh.
I would have to go. If you could just give me 5 minutes,
Yeah.
I would examine the contents of my wallet and see how much I have and whether that will be sufficient.
Take all the time you need.
I go out.
Vash will almost audibly roll his eyes at that because he knows the kid's got the money.
Pretty
I go
insane the contract can't
I go
afford
outside
this
and
money they
strategically have like a drink or something, or and,
You're not going to poison the blacksmith.
No, I'm not poisoning the blacksmith.
No, he's
I'm
just
just
You
trying to
can't poison.
He's just trying to convince the
Yeah.
blacksmith he's only got
That's
like
just
90 parts.
And I come in, Mr. Blacksmith, sir. I went through all my
Guidance.
money, and all I have is 125 gold pieces. Could you do it for that, please?
Well, that would be a shame, wouldn't it?
But please, mister.
That's not a bit.
Persuade.
The poor orphan boy.
Yeah, I can't give you any more.
Poor orphan the poor orphan boy's gone from like 60 to 120 gold by like popping outside. It roll
And
persuasion.
he's worth like a bunch of adventures.
Yeah, yeah.
A D4 to that as well. If I'm right to still be doing games.
Yeah. You are.
Sorry. It doesn't matter. It was a shit roll anyway. 12.
Can someone else do a help action, maybe? Cool.
Is anybody helping him, or is everybody's just like
It was
12?
This is wrong for him to do.
Not helping him.
No.
He's trying to fleece a good hardworking person.
I tell you what,
Imagine finding this amusing.
I like you.
Young whippersnapper.
You've got spunk about you. There's something about you. I'll do you a discount.
Mhm.
I'll do it for 149 gold and 9 silver.
so kind. Let me go and see. I'll have to go borrow some.
You do that.
I'll go out to the back.
Queen's going to go with you and say,
As soon as I see Ethelby change directions,
Mm-hmm.
Bash his hand straight on his coin purse.
Oh, right.
See?
I'll basically go out, have another drink, come back, and here's the 150.
He smiles.
But I take a good job.
He turns around. He chucks
I'll tell you what, hang
an
on.
ingot of silver.
Here's
He
the
chucks an ingot of silver into this sort of almost like a conical pot, and he hoists it into the flames, and he holds it there a while like this, and you can see Gritch just watching. He takes your dagger, and he goes, and he sticks it in, and then he pulls it out, and goes, dunks it in some cold water. There you go. He gives it back.
Would you need to heat the metal in order to create a proper bond between the silver and
It'll work
iron
fine.
particles?
Don't you tell me your job, I won't tell you yours.
Right.
1 silver dagger.
And you'll hear Bash in the
Can I do
background.
some sort of check to see if they've just destroyed this dagger's functionality, or if this is just
Can I
it's a simple
examine
thing
the
to do?
dagger?
You can investigate the dagger
So-
if you
so-
want.
Yeah,
Bash
would you
will
allow
pipe up and go.
survival, perhaps?
So I suppose sharpening's extra.
I'm going to guidance myself.
It costs 1 silver.
That's a crit fail.
15. Is it sharp?
It's as sharp as it would be if you just dumped it in a
Big
bucket of
sharp.
silver.
So he's just ruined this dagger.
It's not so much ruined. It's got very nice. It's very silver.
Can you sharpen
It's
it?
all the way to the end. Yeah, it'll cost you 1 silver.
There you go.
Okay, so that's 150 gold. Fine. He
That was
sharpens
the
it.
discount. He wasn't going to sharpen it.
So I've got a sharp silver dagger.
You have now got a sharp silver dagger. Yes.
Alright. Well,
Just the fact that it's
listen,
sharp.
I'm very impressed with your craft work, Mr. Smith, sir.
I get a lot of practice. I will have to tell the Burgomaster that we've been working on weapons for you, but I'm sure he'll be quite happy if you're planning on going off and
That's quite the
killing werewolves.
Alright.
As we leave, Bash will be the last one to leave. He'll just turn to him just as he's about to close the door. Well played. Well played. And walk out the door.
I haven't even got
Bash wanted to see the Larry.
Well, that's embarrassing. Should we go to the Burgomaster?
It'll save him talking about the dagger.
I will remind, because Zephyr wouldn't have forgotten, but Dave probably has, but Zephyr wouldn't have done, that you had a reading. Well, you didn't. So I guess the question would be whether anybody else would remember. Yeah, you probably would. So, yeah, you were drunk.
Yeah.
At Madame Eva's. So, Zephyr's reading at Madame Eva's had the 6 of glyphs, which is the anarchist. Okay? A figure stands with a twisted wire framework decorated with glyphs and lightning cackling and crackling across that cage as the figure seems to be transforming into something as yet unseen. And you were told that card shows change, gradual or sudden, for good or for ill, rebellion against the established order. There is a town where all is not well, a house of corruption, and within, help rests in a dark room full of still ghosts.
A dark room full of still ghosts.
Just while we're hanging out in a town where all is well. You would remember that.
When he pulls out a dark room full of still goats. Ghosts.
Yeah, Quinny wrote it down. Quinny would totally...
My people, we don't really write. We kind of just ask birds to remember.
More of an oral tradition.
So all your owls have come back, and the owls are quite happy that there is, there's people coming and going at the Burgomaster's house, but nothing untoward. And Izeka's disappeared off into town to play cards. So that's I'm assuming that you've sent them off.
You're all going to exist for about another 10 minutes or so. Go enjoy yourselves.
Oh, they're having fab time. As you can.
And trying desperately not to think about the ethics of just like creating creatures that then vanish from existence. No, so the wording is they turn to dust. But they're not really alive to begin with anyway. They're kind of magic. So I
like a magical construct.
I think so.
So you sort of head north out of the city towards the Burgomaster's mansion, which is sort of sitting on the outskirts of town. There's smoke curling out of a chimney. Lots of lights are on, and there's a sort of large set of oak front doors. You know from your owls, 2 of whom are currently perched on that tree and one's perched on that roof there, that both the Burgomaster and his wife Lydia appear to be home, and there are some other guests here. You've seen some.
The eagle is in the building. That's supposed to mean something.
Victor's gonna strap up to the door, grab the stuff, and not the typical stuff. Something's like what we did.
You're out of bardic inspiration. Yes. Okay, cool. I'm not going to hide this. That's not classified as an animal or something.
So you knock on the front door?
Yeah.
Okay. You can hear people, moving around inside, and the door sort of creaks open, and this sort of young, blonde, probably half-elven woman sort of opens the door. She's in a uniform, sort of plain tunic with an apron, a little sort of bonnet, and goes, hello, can I help you?
We have an invitation.
Are you here to join the preparations? And she looks a little bit perplexed.
We were invited to dinner by the Burgomaster.
Oh, you're here to see the master of the house. Oh, come in. And she opens the door, and
What are the preparations for?
Every day at this time, the Baroness entertains women of the town to tea and preparing for the festival. I thought it would be somewhat strange for you to be joining, you not being women and all. Pardon. And she's looking at you in a sort of...
goat.
Not quite sure whether she's...
we're not here.
Oh, okay. And she opens the door to the inside.
She's interesting. Is she just caught unawares, or is she actively nervous?
She roll insight.
So that I start throwing d4s at people, which honestly could be more fun.
Spamming guidance.
Yeah.
Nice. Love guidance.
17.
Making your friends better at shit. It's great. You think that she doesn't appear to be hiding anything. She doesn't seem to have been expecting you. She seems quite
That should be like
worried that she's not doing a good job, maybe, is nervous about something, but doesn't necessarily seem to be related to you.
It was more of a, are you nervous because people have shown up unexpectedly, or are you nervous because you've got a reason to be nervous?
You can't tell that, I don't think. You get the feeling that she's not, like, the happiest person at work, but, difficult to...
Considering what she does...
It's difficult to tell. You can't discern on an introduction through a half-open door what exactly...
What is the nature of this person at their core?
At their core, are they pleased to be here or not? Oh, interesting. We do spend a ridiculous amount of time plane watching. We'll be on in a minute, going...
Had they the chance, would they choose to be born again and try their life over, or are they content?
Or you'd need a bigger inside check to figure that out. Okay. So she...
Perception check just to see what the sounds of the house are.
Yes, you can.
Guidance.
You just go...
D4.
21.
With a 21, you listen. You can hear sort of mumbled conversation coming from sort of through this door. So you've come into this entrance hall. There's some stairs going up here. You can hear sort of mumbled conversation coming from. Probably from behind this door, which is currently closed, and you can hear sort of conversation. You can hear with a 21, you can hear sort of low growl of what you would assume to be a dog, and you can smell pipe smoke.
And is the like floors, like, are they like that real creaky old kind of explorer?
Well, there's this as you walk in, this is pretty posh. It's not as nice, although you're probably not going to say, you might say that, but it doesn't appear to be imminently as nice as Vasily's place, even though it's bigger. It doesn't seem quite as elegant as Vasily's place. This is much more showy. So there's a large carpet in the entrance embroidered with the sort of the Burgomaster's crest.
Whereas the last place was a display of affluence, this is a display of power.
Yeah, you could probably get that. This is who we are.
I think the other guy's just classy.
If you're looking around, you can see that there's like bundles of twigs stacked against the walls, like they've been collecting. They've been out in the forest, and there's these big stacks of twigs stacked up, where you'd have like umbrellas in a house where it rains all the time. There's a long hallway, sort of that's tiled directly in front with doors on either side. As you walk in and you're following, this door opens, and I'll just move you guys in, and it's been excruciatingly slow tonight. And a woman comes to the front to the door and looks through. She's got small glasses perched on the end of her nose. She bears a striking resemblance to Father Lucian, the priest, but younger. Hair pulled back quite tightly in a bun at the bottom of her, at the nape of her neck. Sort of blonde hair, looks sort of more, lots of lines, looks worn, sort of attire, and goes, "Oh, hello, you must be the new visitors to town. Hilda, you take them to see the Baron. I will be joining you for dinner shortly. You are welcome. All is well. All is well."
Bash will incline to a small bow.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. And she goes, and you can hear this sort of hushed conversation of sort of ladies behind, and if you look in over her shoulder, there's lots of sort of women sitting around sewing. They appear to be making costumes. There's some so-so looking sandwiches on a sideboard and some tea. In that room, roll a perception check.
On the opposite end of that spectrum, do any of them, do they all look equally as kind of worn and a little unhappy with their situation? Or do they actually does this look like a group of people who are getting a task done, or is it actually a club of people enjoying what they're doing?
This looks, roll inside.
That's 12.
With 12 perception, you cast your eye over the room and go, nothing doing here.
That's a natural 20 for a total of 30.
Okay, with a total of 30, you look and you go, all of these people are of the bottom social order. So these would be poor commoners. You get the impression that they're here for the food as much as anything else, because these dodgy sandwiches are probably the only thing they're going to get to eat this week. And that they're here for that rather than everything else that's going on. They're kind of not desperately enthusiastic about, but we'll get it done because that's what we've been told to do, and she's feeding us. That's the general vibe. Okay.
History lesson for a second.
Yeah.
I completely forgot. What ended up happening to the skull?
We returned it.
We returned it, and
Yes.
and we had a whole.
We reconsecrated the church.
I must not.
So he couldn't, and he had to pay.
But not the town. The church gets
So that was last episode, I think.
But I'm not feeling it anywhere else.
Oh, so you think the rest of the town's now unsafe?
The town is
The whole town was never safe.
These are the
Only the church.
The church was safe because of the
Which
skull.
means
So
They're doing like menial tasks.
Other reasons.
like a sweatshop.
I think less a sweatshop and more like
That's why we
like bad
But now
food
at least
races
it's
when you
Stride
march
Rock
next to
Stars
somewhere,
somewhere.
like, Port Potatoes,
Except
they'll be on camera.
It's not like the upper class sewing, doing
No, it's not
embroidery.
like actual club people. It's doing what you want.
Where the women
Oh,
are embroidering, they're doing more bitching than stitching.
Okay. So so Hilda, who's this half elven maid, she shows you down and knocks on the door of this study. Come in. I assume you'll all stay together. I'll just stick fashion for now. And you go into this den. It reeks of sort of pipe smoke. It's really dense. It kind of catches your throat as you walk in. There's some padded leather chairs. There's a huge rug made out of a bear skin with a sort of a a big jaw with all its teeth on the floor. On the eastern wall, there's this huge head of another bear with its mouth sort of open in full growl, mounted on the wall, and there's two black mastiff dogs. It's sort of sitting.
As the smell hits Bash's nose, he stops breathing.
Is breathing optional for you?
Yeah, breathing's optional.
Horrendous.
Yeah. I don't need to breathe, so I just stop. Because I don't like the smell.
Oh, I think that's okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
What do the dogs look like? Tap hounds or?
They look
hunting
like
dogs, or?
yeah, they look like guard dogs. They look like big, heavy built mastiff guard dogs.
Interesting.
Yeah, and they're so he's sort of sitting, reclining in this big leather armchair, and he's got these two dogs, one on sort of either side of the chair. He does not rise as you come in the room. He sort of beckons, goes, "Oh, Hilda, excellent, show them in," and he sort of beckons like this, and for you to enter the room, and she sort of goes, yes, Baron," and she sort of backs out. And backs away.
Have we noticed the fellow in the corner?
Which one?
The right.
Yeah, he's not there. It's all right. That's I just didn't take him. I left him there in case. Depended on what the owls found, but so I've just not taken him off. So,
He's not there.
He's not there. I shall hide him.
It's just the mayor and the dog.
There you go. You can sit in his chair now.
Marvelous.
Quinny is going to say in Druidic, I had something and I've forgotten it. Never mind.
There's a rather unusual thing to say in Druid.
When he walks through a doorway and forgets something.
Can you look into a bear? And,
I could, but I feel like revealing I can shift into animals when there's been animals committing crimes over the last week is a really bad move. So I'm going to try and if I can get away with it.
Turn into a bear and you walk in like, "That's my brother."
So the Baron is sort of sitting in his chairs, and he goes, "So I've heard about your exploits. Thank you for eventually deciding to come and visit. I'm not used to people take so long to take me up on the invitation, but thank you for all of the updates that you've sent over the last couple of days."
Pressing matters came to attention. Let's deal with them first.
More pressing than making yourself known to the
Like
authorities in charge of the town.
Like reconsecrating your church.
Reconsecrating the church. Was there a problem with the church?
Nothing that wasn't easily fixed.
He stands up and moves
Boast
to
a little bit as to why we took so long.
just move to the door and goes, Lydia, come here. And the door opens in the sort of front parlour, and Lydia comes across the hall and goes, "What, Vargas? What do you want? I'm with the ladies. We're making the preparations as we do in an afternoon. Can I help?" And he's, "What has your brother been doing at the church?"
In his defence, it was not him that did it.
And he's glaring. He's glaring at his wife. He's glaring at his wife, and she's like, "Well, he's my brother. I don't know everything that he does or doesn't do. I've not heard of any particular problems. I should get back to the ladies. Really, we should not now, should we? No. And I will. And she hurries away and
Yeah.
That's a bit extreme.
what's
That's
that?
a little too soon.
Ash wasn't
He didn't-
impressed either.
No,
We
it's
need to-
justified, but when he doesn't stand,
We need to kill him.
Hence the
he
boast.
dies.
Hence the boast to get his attention.
Quinny would like to turn to the dogs and say, "You work for this guy?"
You're talking to the dogs.
Yeah.
In dog.
Are you talking to the dogs out loud in dog?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look out, Brady, a roost.
The dogs look at you, cock their head to one side, look at you, and growl. Not now.
Ooh, that's interesting.
And
I'm gonna,
Baron
I'm gonna
lonna you and
awkwardly
goes,
transition into coughing. Sorry, the cigar smoke.
deception check.
Wanna help me here? Deception's not.
Yeah, I'll give it- I'll give
Lady
you
Red
guidance.
Wang.
Oh, thank you.
You can't guide yourself.
That's a 14.
Oh, crit.
Fail or success?
Success.
Oh dear.
Um, precisely. I'm unclear exactly what you are.
Oh, I'm a satyr from.
Why are you barking at my dogs?
My friend is away with animals.
I do love of animals. I was merely saying hello. My apologies if I upset you.
If you bark at them again, I might have to ask them to escort you out.
The dogs.
I would assume they're very well trained.
Usually.
My
Can I
apologies
inside
if
there?
I
Anything weird about the dog?
There's definitely something weird about the dogs. They
Bash
talk to me in a
didn't
full
that was
sentence.
menace. That was menacing.
No. Like, as in, do I think these dogs are actually dogs?
No, I think they're humans.
Can I, my bell branch that I've got, that can detect a whole bunch of stuff. How obvious is that if it goes off?
It rings like bells, but they're attached to your staff.
Yeah,
so
like
you could,
if I can I
you
maybe
could
do, like,
be
a check or
jingly
something
if you wanted to be jingly.
If I go to just stand over in the corner or something and while I'm
And
moving, try to
Jingle.
discreetly put off the thing.
Yeah.
Sound like a terrible idea?
You could accidentally bump them on a leather chair or something.
Cool. I will do that. I have no charges left in my bell branch. Never mind. I will not do that. I can't.
When did you use those?
I used it for protection with the vampire fight. It also only gets
You
it only
did.
gets 1d3 a day,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
have only ever rolled a 1 so far.
Brutal. Fair enough. I was just like, I can't remember when the last time you used it, but yeah, that
No,
would explain it. Okay.
I mostly use protection from good and evil.
So there has been. You get the feeling that not coming straight away when you were invited may have been a small social faux pas, but something going down in the church that he didn't know about is a much bigger deal. So he's obviously rattled. I know that you don't need to roll inside. He's obviously rattled
I assure
and
you, there
on
are no-
edge.
All is well, everything is fine. I assure you. We wanted to make sure that your town was completely safe, as I'm sure you would do yourself. So that is why we were delayed.
The purpose of my family, of the guard, is to maintain safety in this city. If there was a problem at the church, I should have been told. I should have known about it. I will take this up with Burgomaster tomorrow morning.
Perhaps you didn't know because we intervened before you could be told. And we fixed the problem before anything came.
This has only happened
We are
this
quite
morning.
efficient.
I will take this up with Isaac when he returns. If his guard are not on their duties and he is not reporting accurately to me the state of affairs in this city.
Well, as the head of the town guard, that is his duty.
Indeed.
I feel like
Oh.
you're shooting us in the foot.
No.
Are we throwing Isaac under the bus?
No. I'm not throwing you under the bus. This is calculated.
No. I'll leave the people to
So, Mr. Burgomaster,
Yes.
I'm sure you brought us here for a reason.
Well, I like to meet all newcomers. There are very few newcomers who come to town. I like to make sure that people who arrive spend money in shops, restore the wine supply, which had been running very dry for a number of weeks, and seem to, put notices up, selling property, having, that's quite a lot in a very short period of time. I like to make sure that everybody knows the rules around the city and about keeping things well, about how this place works, so we all understand one another.
That's all we were doing, was increasing the wellness of the area.
Zipper is going
And I
to stare
apologise
straight
for
in the
that.
eyes, just piercing people's eyes and say, do you believe that we've left Valaki worse for wear than we found it? Or have we made it more well?
We have.
It is not possible to make Valaki more well. All is well in Valaki at all times. Be very careful what you are suggesting.
Really quick, do we see any guards when we came in here?
You didn't see any.
Cool. Well, it'll be like
You didn't see
so long
any.
as the dogs aren't like fiends or something.
Hang on, did he reply to Zephyr out loud? Or was that telepathic?
No,
But-
out loud.
But I just don't see how a lack of wine allows things to be well.
It's deeply troubling.
It's very troubling when there is no wine.
It is very troubling.
No.
It is very troubling when there is no wine, but the Wizards of Wine sits outside of the boundaries of Valaki. We would have managed if we had to.
You don't.
And that is kind.
You're only here to help.
But interfering with the church within the walls of the city without
Interfering.
being aware. What was the problem there?
There was a local artifact that had been misplaced through some unfortunate miscommunications with people.
And we were simply able to return.
Well, before we get carried away here, can I please introduce myself? My name is Father Malachi. I am of the Morning Lord, and I was sent here to make sure the churches all were in right order, and if there was anything I could do to help them. And that was the purpose I was sent here to do. And Father Lucian needed some help, and we helped solve the problem.
Father Lucian should have come to me.
He probably should have, but I am also of the church, like Morning Lord. So,
Morning Lord, yeah. Here's my card. Here's my card.
So he naturally he went to
I've
one
heard.
of his own.
I have heard. You gave a sermon. I believe the other evening. Arvik, my chef, came back with a spring in his step I have not seen for many, many years.
Yes,
Strange.
That's why we call him the Sermonator.
My friends and I may have assisted in the theatrics of that sermon to make it stand out.
Yeah. Okay. Do you hunt at all?
I've been known to hunt on occasion.
In a manner of speaking.
Only when necessary.
Bashful smile, purposely not showing his teeth.
I see you're quite accomplished, and I'll gesture to the bear carcasses.
He gestures to the bear up on the wall. He was like, this beast had plagued the village, at the surrounds, and my father and I, when I was a young boy, took me out and I killed this beast.
Very well.
Yes.
It's a quite impressive feat as a boy.
Everyone else in the hunting party other than my father and myself were killed by this beast. And I took him down with this knife, and he just pulls a knife.
Knife.
With this knife from
Can I
his...
quickly do like a section check or investigation
Yeah.
or something on the knife? Like if there's anything.
I just
Does it
wanted
look
to.
like if it's with knife? Is it different? Is it more
Okay. That would be perception. What
I
do
want
you
to do
want?
an insight to see if he's.
Okay.
Insight to see if he's full shit.
Yep.
How big's the bear? Like compared to Quinny,
16.
who's familiar with bears.
Oh, this would be a full-grown adult
Okay.
Nasty.
That's relatively
So-
like that's CR2 or something.
You think this story's been told many, many, many times, and there may be a grain of truth in it somewhere, but you're not 100% sure where that grain is.
I would assume a bear jumped on him.
There
and
may-
just happened to go on
There
the
may
right
be a
spot.
bear involved.
He accidentally killed it. That's right.
16 for.
No, it's probably just someone else. in the same party
it's- With a 16 in perception, this looks like an ornamental dagger. This doesn't look like this looks more like a decorative piece than a functional go out killing animals kind of a weapon. Etherdwee's daggers look much more functionally deadly than this. This looks fancy, but it looks like the blade would bend
So it would be,
and
like, valuable.
you can't tell whether it would be valuable, but it looks ornamental rather than particularly useful as a weapon.
I'll send
It would be for resale value as opposed to it's a +3 dagger or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Be like, your dagger is.
Do you hunt recently?
Yes, it sounds like it's more a dagger.
Not so much anymore. We employ people to do that for us. There's a number of hunters. You may have seen some of them drinking often at the Blue Water Inn. They hunt bears in the surrounds, sometimes wolves,
Yes.
sometimes further out in the snowy mountains. There are.
wolves on the way here.
Yes, well, it was the Wolf's Head Jamboree. We got all the wolves that had been recently slaughtered. You may have seen the heads on poles
Yes.
when you
Definitely
came into
saw
the
that.
city. Yes, an excellent festival, the Wolf's Head Jamboree. Clears out the immediate surrounds, gives us meat for a significant amount of the festival food.
The game animals to breed more freely.
It allows a show of strength and power at the defensive force of the city, which is important in making sure that everybody knows that all is well.
We ran a small foul with your curfew. You arrived just as the doors were closing. May I ask, is there any particular reason that's in place? Have there been disturbances of a night previously?
Sorry, say that again?
We run your curfew. We ran a little trouble with that. We came just as the doors were closing. But has there been troubles previously? All is well.
Well,
now,
the
but previously
curfew,
there have
the
been troubles
curfew, the curfew here used to be, in the time of my father, an absolute stringent held from 6 in the evening until 6 in the morning. The town was shut and people were not allowed out of their houses and the doors were locked and the city was quiet and peaceful. I allow a little more freedom within the city, but we don't like comings and goings late in the evening. It is disruptive to the general order of things. So we tend to lock the city down slightly later in the evening.
The general order of things?
Well, keeping the order within the city is the main reason for the city being well. If there was no order, imagine the chaos that would ensue.
And I would imagine that if the gates were open at night, all manner of people could sneak through the gates. If it was momentarily not stringently looked at. Whereas if the gates are closed, you don't have to lock the gates.
Indeed. And he sort of... Indeed. We should go for dinner.
Yes.
And he sort of gets up and sort of, lifts his hand, and the dogs sit and sort of stay by this chair, and he gets up and
He's already agitated and needs a lot of
and
Can I? He's walking out the room.
yes,
When his back is to me, can I turn to one of these dogs and just raise an eyebrow and just see if it has a response? I'm trying to gauge its intelligence.
of this dog,
Yeah.
it just cocks its head on one side and looks at you.
What the hell? And then I'll
So he takes you across the corridor to a dining room on the other side. You can hear through the in the parlour, the sort of scraping of chairs, the sound of sort of people packing up and clearing up, and lots of sort of women's voices going, "Oh yes, looking forward to it. It's going to be a spectacular event. We should come tomorrow and maybe do the weaving." And the sort of voice of Lydia going, "Oh, that is a good idea. We should really make that. That is the centerpiece for the whole affair. So we could do that tomorrow. That's a good plan, and maybe bring some of the children for a fitting." She sort of, as you're walking down into the dining room, you see her sort of escorting, like, "Oh, lovely, you can all go now. You've had your sandwiches, lovely, out my house." And she's sort of shuffling all these sort of female commoners, peasants of Vallaki out of the door. You've not really seen any of them. There's nobody here that you've seen in your time at the Blue Water Inn. There's nobody who looks familiar. These just look like sort of people who don't spend a lot of time shopping because they're starving to death. It's more that sort of theme. Okay. So the Baron sort of sits at the head of this large sort of dining room, and
would it be noticeable to us that they're like quite gaunt and malnourished?
Oh yeah, they're all, you can see that all the dresses and the tunics and things are patched and torn, threadbare. There's a sort of shawl. Two haven't got any shoes. Yeah.
So is the front door open?
So Lydia is closing the front door as she's coming back in.
I'm just going to try something.
So there's a large oak table with some sort of arrangement of greenery in the middle. There's no flowers in here, just sort of some green, shrubby thing in the middle of the table. And the Baron takes his seat at the head of the table, and Lydia sits down at his right side, and very much how this where I'm supposed to be, and goes, and he's like, "Sit, join me. We'll get Arik to bring some. Arik and Hild can bring some dinner. Yes." And Hild sort of runs off down the corridor, the maid, and Lydia goes, "Yes. It's not quite been as straightforward having lots of people to dinner since William went missing, but and she gets this look, but that yes, I guess
William.
William is the butler. He's we've not seen him for a number of days, really.
My friends and I are quite proficient trackers. We could perhaps assist.
Well, and the Baron sort of leans back in his chair and goes, "That will not be necessary. I have put Isaac on to this. I'm waiting for him to report back his findings. He has got the town guard out looking for William. I'm sure that when they find him, we will know about it, and then we can deal with whatever it is."
Could you perhaps give us a description, just in case we run into him around town?
He's male, short, a little bit taller than this one here, black hair, and then...
Is this matching the description of any of the zombies we just dissolved in frog guts?
No.
Good.
No.
Sorry, vampires.
No.
Love.
And Lydia goes, "Yes, he would be. He's quite thin. He's probably between the height of your short. I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Master.
About a little bit taller than Ethelwee, and he's quite thin. Has black hair. He was wearing a sort of a white shirt, quite high quality, and usually wears black trousers. He works. He's been very reliable. Has green eyes, and sometimes has a small beard, and you can feel this sort of...
He's not happy about his being voted out.
No.
Interesting.
Is the door still with us?
No, it's built in the
It's like
space.
all the other room. And we've not met anyone like that.
So
I don't think so. No.
Bash will just put his eyes towards the ceiling, just looking around at the decor. And as soon as he knows his actual eyes are out of everyone's view, he's going to activate his detect magic to see if there's anything pinging in the room.
What's the range when you detect
30
magic?
feet.
There is.
Or is it
No, I can just do it.
right now?
And I
Let me
will
just see.
It doesn't
do it.
discount the
No,
usual. It doesn't actually discount the components.
No.
That just acts like a cantrip instead.
It just makes it a cantrip instead, so it might still be semantic or verbal or anything like that. It discounts material components, right, or abilities. Although interestingly enough, it actually doesn't do that automatically. It's every single ability except for a few says you can ignore components.
You still casting?
I've got a stick. No, I'll leave it out.
The spell might not have those components.
So verbal and semantic.
Yeah, cool. Sorry, not to
No, it's fine.
So the door opens and he'll sort of shuffles in and he sort of gives out these sort of this big tureen of some kind of dark red soup and puts these bowls around the table and goes, a beet soup this evening. And the Baron goes, beet soup every evening, yes.
Bash is going
What a
to,
life.
but obviously because it's sitting in front of him, he's just going to smell it.
Smells beetroot.
Doesn't smell of any other red liquids.
No.
Just making sure.
No. And no. And
Bash
with
is
your
just making sure
very
that-
heightened detection of such other fruit, no, it smells beetroot.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
You don't start salivating.
No. It's more of a. Are they trying to feed us?
And so are you staying in town for the festival?
We're
So-
unsure how long our business will keep us here at all.
Oh, you should really come to the festival. I mean, they are quite spectacular, and certainly within the city, they are well attended.
What's the occasion? What are we commemorating this?
Oh, it's the Festival of the Blazing Sun. That's what we are preparing for. Tomorrow we will do the weaving. We've been making costumes today for the children. It's always good to have children at the festivals. They are
Is that part
required.
of the church, the Blazing Sun?
My please.
Excuse me, Mr. Burgomaster.
Yes.
You mentioned before that there are some rules one must adhere to while in the land. I was curious as to exactly what those were, because we would not want to tread on any toes while we're here.
Oh, the rules. Well, you must understand that it is a fine balance here, keeping Valaki safe from he that lives in
We
the
know who you're
castle.
referring to.
And he just stares at he lives in the castle, and
Do not say your name.
the quickest way to summon a devil would be to say its name.
I was
Everybody
just about to say that.
everybody knows that.
Well, forgive me,
I was
I
under the
come
impression that it
from-
was safe.
That is where the saying "speak of the devil" comes from.
I thought all of
Maybe
the
if they
was
speak of
sort
the
of
badger.
a sacred ground.
Similar enough.
Only because we do not name the thing that we are safe from here. We do not name him, and we celebrate our safety on a regular basis. It is a public show of unity, about keeping morale, about understanding that having everybody on the same side is really important. So
Can I answer like that?
It is unwise to invite calamity.
Can I do that as well?
inside, yep.
Oh
Yeah, I just want to see if like this
Oh,
is
right.
It's only 10. As to whether or not you can tell the truth about the name.
25.
On inside, he seems absolutely totally sort of evangelical about his belief that he is keeping the city seat. So
He honestly
so
believes he's doing what he's
so the
doing.
rules of Valaki, if you do not know, has no one and his size, because they are known. Everybody who knows them, if you had have come when you were first invited, you would also know them. But I will tell you now, because you did not come. Now you may have broken some, so you are looking. Anyway, no one speaks the name of the devil. No one says that name out loud, writes it down, that summons him. We do not say that here. No one speaks ill of the festivals or of my family, who are working tirelessly keeping this city safe. Morale is everything here, and
not everyone break that rule.
breaking the spirits of the fellow citizens of Valaki is criminal and should be punished.
I can assure you we've not had anyone break that rule.
It is your duty to take part in the festivals, to maintain the morale of the city, and to clean up after the festivals. That is part of your civic duty as a member of this community.
Is the morale of the free not stronger than the morale of the coerced?
Coerced?
Yes,
Are
you're having to do something.
Are
Surely
you-
that's less interesting and exciting than...
And you watch Lydia just go
How far we can
and physically sort of recoil and shrink back in her chair. Like,
I'm just like, I'm just pulling him back. Going, I'm sure such expression was given by the people at the last Burgomaster elections. I'm sure.
my father was Burgomaster before me,
The
before
limited
his
inheritance.
unfortunate, untimely passing.
Can I insert that unfortunate?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That doesn't need to.
Accidentally cut his head off. while
18.
it was. He was young, so it was untimely.
Remind me, sorry, the ghost we
So
spoke
does he
to...
seem happy saying this? In a weird way.
No. No,
And will your,
very matter of fact about
and will
it.
your child inherit from you?
Of course, Victor will run this city with the confidence and the seeming of a man born to that position.
And how
As
old
we
is
have done.
young Victor right now?
He's 16.
And how old were you when your father?
Have we seen Victor?
No.
I've never seen Vicky yet.
How old was I when my father died?
Yeah.
22.
When the role was thrust upon him?
22.
So he wasn't that young. I thought he might have been like 8.
Remind me, sorry, the ghost we spoke to earlier, was their gripes with this guy or this guy's father?
This guy's
This guy's
father,
Cool.
Vargon Valakovich.
Rather than Galactovich.
Which you would know because you've raided the history books.
And it
of
was
Vasily's house.
an hour ago.
Yeah. Yes, and you raided the history books. So you've got a bag full of books. And so, the usual rules of any polite society apply here. Assault.
No thievery, no murder.
Yeah, assault, murder, punishable crimes. We have the occasional execution. Rare these days, rare. You may have seen the stocks in the town centre. Those are... That would be...
Old pony fashion.
Well, that would be, people will be there for anywhere between a day or a week or two, depending on the level of the crime that they have committed. Sometimes we might need to seize some assets, maybe a house, maybe belongings. There's a Reformation house where we re-educate people into the importance of performing their civil duty.
Where is this Reformation house?
It's on the lines.
Queen's carving a hammer and
why-
sickle into the table.
Why am I seeing in my head?
Re-education. Yeah. 100%.
Oh, for
It's been that way
For sure.
It's been there for ages.
For sure. Sure it's Valaki, not Auschwitz?
Lucky witch.
The historian's like, it was definitely 6 months. And like, he's like, nah.
It couldn't be that.
It's all fake.
It couldn't be that.
Fake news. Some occasionally, if somebody, occasionally they are bought here, but only if Isaac deems that necessary. But rare.
Facilities to house criminals.
Oh well, there is the Reformation House. We don't tend to house criminals. We tend to try and reform them.
Sure.
Allow me to rephrase. Accommodations for those who need re-education before they move on to that house.
There would be an accommodation for that, just outside of the city wall, on the west side of the city, just beyond the gate
You wouldn't
there.
want those sort of elements inside.
Kennedy's Gate. You might have gone past actually when you went out to the Wizard of Wines, but you might not have noticed it's set back a bit from the city.
How old would we assess the Burgomaster as?
The Burgomaster is probably in his 50s.
Okay.
And Lydia's like, oh, okay. Everybody's finished the soup. Lovely. Okay. Let's move on to the main course now, Hilda. Thank you. And Hilda comes around and she takes all the plates and she shuffles them out and she brings them back. Would you like wine? Would you like wine, Hilda? Shall we get some wine?
I'm all right.
And, okay. And she's like,
Wine would be.
What's the main course? It's not if it's pie, I'm not.
it's not pie. There's what appears to be a giant sort of steak from the Wolf's Head Jamboree. So wolf steak and there's some root vegetables. So sliced beetroot, roasted beetroot, and
More
mashed beetroot. Yeah, there's a beetroot theme to this evening's meal.
Quinny cannot eat meat, so we'll hand the steak back, but enjoy another plate of beetroot. Delicious.
He thinks you're very strange.
Forgive me, obligate herbivores. I would take part in the delicious-looking wolf. Did you say?
Wolf.
But I physically cannot eat meat. You might not have noticed I have a satyr. It's very well hidden.
Lydia's like, I heard you were at the church. I'm so sorry I missed the evening sermon. I went on the morning that day. I'm usually in the morning service. I noticed that the light was shining beautifully through the windows there this afternoon when I went to collect the ladies for making and mending. You've met my brother. He's a good man. He's
quite a lot of it now.
Yes.
Quite fond of it.
The morning Lord be praised. Yes. It's all, yes. It's good. And she sort of looks at her husband out of the corner of her eye and goes, yes, well, the morning Lord, and obviously the Baron, and all is well. Yes, all is well here, yes.
I'm not going to roll inside on this, but Bash clearly notices she's very nervous.
She seems
ridiculously terrified of him.
She seems very uncomfortable, and the longer it goes on, the more uncomfortable she seems. And
That's what Bash thought.
And she's like, and she sort of puts a plate. Excuse me, personal business, and she leaves the table and sort of walks off down the hall. And the Baron's like, you have to excuse Lydia.
She clearly has a lot of her mind.
Well, there's a limit to the quality of wife a man can get in a place like Thalaki.
Savage.
Vash is absolutely resisting the urge to activate his Dread right now.
Well done.
He's
He's so
resistant.
controlled.
He's the Burgomaster, sir.
Malachi's just not moving.
Does Victor still live here?
Goddamn Catholics.
Victor!
Not yet.
Yes. Victor will almost certainly be studying hard in his room.
Does he like to play?
He's 16, isn't
I think he might be a little bit old for games.
Oh,
he? It is a shame that the young lad couldn't join us for dinner, though. I would have been interested to meet him.
He will. He rarely comes down, and when we have company, he
Vash does not find that
he studies. He studies very hard. He takes his studies very seriously. He's a diligent young man. Well, politics, history, leadership. He studies a lot. I mean, recently, and he's sort of conspiratorial. It was like recently, we did try to match him up with an eligible young woman. The Watcher family, they have. They're a noble family in town. They have a daughter named Stella, and she would seem a good match, the right kind of age. She came relatively regularly for a while, but fragile, the poor girl. She had some fragile. She had some.
How do you mean?
Physically fragile or mentally fragile? They're two very different things. That's why Vash is asking the question.
She came a number of times, and met with Victor, and they studied. And on occasion, I saw her have a fit once. I think she, some kind of seizure out in the street. It was a thing to behold. I'm not sure that I would want my family marrying somebody, weak of health like that. She's not been round now. Oh, a number of weeks. It all fizzled itself out probably more than a month, 6 weeks ago. It had been going well, maybe for maybe 6 months. They'd been seeming to get along famously. I had hope for him maybe marrying one day and having a son of his own. Obviously, the father worries about these things, especially in a place like Valaki.
You can't have a weak person to carry the name.
What would happen to the line if he never met anyone? Do you have siblings yourself?
No, I was an only child. If he had, if Victor did not have children, well, I think that's unlikely to be an issue. I would suggest that he rehomed an unfortunate underfed orphan, maybe. There are plenty in Valaki. Brought him up as his own.
What about someone from outside Valaki? Is that friend of
Well, there are people outside Valaki, obviously.
Most people are outside Valaki.
I'm not sure. Have you been anywhere other than Valaki?
Yes.
It's kind of like how Sydney-siders would talk of like anybody outside of Sydney, or like Londoners talk about anybody else in the UK. It's like, well, there are people outside of London, but we don't talk about them or meet them. That would be ridiculous.
Other places in New Zealand or
And Lydia comes back and says, so sorry, and sits down again. And the Baron goes, I was just telling them about Stella. And you get this sort of, Lydia smiles and she goes, oh, she was a lovely girl. I had hopes for Victor, meeting a nice young lady.
Well, maybe Victor should, we should introduce Victor to one of our friends, Harleen, who's a well-bred, healthy, buxom, eligible woman.
I think I'm going to stop you there. I don't think young Victor would.
I'll just kick you under the table.
Let's just go with it. We're going to whore her out.
I think she will kill you all. She would totally.
I don't think Harleen would appreciate being
pimped out,
volunteered for something without her knowledge.
She's not enough quality.
A simple introduction.
I will tell her.
Introduction.
You want it.
Nice and see.
To follow on with it, in her defense, she does have a predisposition to violence. He's quite correct.
Well, if you were staying in town, given that you appear to have the good of the town at heart, even if you have been rather unorthodox about your behaviour, we may be able to come to some kind of arrangement. Maybe you could take a role within the guard, and certainly if you can find a suitable woman for Victor, who could then maybe
I'd have to travel outside the plane of existence for that one.
Speaking of,
Please tell me you didn't actually say that.
the good of the town,
Yeah. No, I'm saying for the quality that he wants, that he deserves.
roll deception check.
A Harleen Victor match.
never mind, I was about to put my foot in it, but we're all good.
That's said by a 10-year-old who fully understands
7.
the art of courting and matchmaking.
I wasn't to say that.
It's like, I know a girl. I know one girl. She's suitable.
I believe strongly in the value of the city, and that by protecting the city we will find somebody suitable for our Victor here. Maybe Stella will return.
Okay.
Maybe.
Speaking of
And Lydia's like, oh, she was a lovely girl. She was a lovely girl.
May I ask another question too?
So using your inside
By all means.
Yeah, it's the only way I can speak. I'm not letting him speak back in my ear anyway. We happened to bring a runaway orphan boy back to the orphanage. I care a lot about children in this town. I hear that it's required for children to be at the festival.
Of course.
Is it not required for everyone? Why specifically children?
Oh, it is required for everyone. But you know how children are sometimes. They would sometimes rather be doing their own thing, playing, hanging out with their friends, rather than attending an organised event, however excellent that is. Their attendance is required because they are the life and soul of the community, but sometimes they don't necessarily understand that yet. They don't understand civic duty as well as their parents, and their parents need to enforce civic duty, or the state will need to enforce it for them.
Speaking of spirits of the town, we came across quite an interesting house over on such and such street. Looks like it had not been inhabited for some time.
Well, actually, while you're doing that, before you bring that up,
A completely natural conversation.
I've been having a little bit too much wine, and I think I'm going to have to go to the bar.
Of course.
Okay.
Can you tell me where that is?
I also need to go to the bathroom.
Well, I've been waiting for you to go to the bathroom for ages, and I'm like, fine, I'll do it.
Lydia's like, of course, there is a and she takes you into the hall, and she sort of points out that there's this next to the staircase. There's a small room just to the side. There is it is plumbed, and like. Which is
plumbing.
It is
I might go for it. Look, sure.
And she's like, yes, like that's like, look at the quality of my house.
And I just want to point out, Vash still hasn't breathed. It hasn't taken one
Just
single
not
breath.
breathing.
Okay.
I'm picturing just the soup just.
Oh no, he ate the soup like a normal person.
Fine.
So it started breathing.
They've not
What
noticed.
are we doing?
They've not noticed.
I'm going to toilet. I'll go investigating after them. I'll go to toilet first. Gotta use this.
Zephyr, roll a perception check.
Quinian's just standing outside, just deeply confused.
In the hall, waiting for the toilet.
Yeah, I'm assuming there's only one of them.
18.
With an 18, you're aware that as Hilda sort of bustles in to collect all the plates, you're aware of a note being placed sort of into your pocket or waistband of your pouch. You're aware of that.
From the
thing.
wife?
Hilda, no, the maid.
Oh, yeah.
And she comes in and cleans up the plates.
While I'm standing in this hallway,
Yes.
never mind, I still don't have charges on my staff, I still can't do it. Never mind, so not me.
I'm going to drink more
I
wine.
quickly take a piss and then I'm going to go upstairs.
Shoots. As you're walking up the stairs,
Well, I'll look
I'm
around
gonna
before I
yell
do
after
that,
you
make
saying,
sure
are we bringing up the historical ghost?
Yeah, you go.
Good, I'll head back.
I'm trying to head.
You're going upstairs.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I want to go to the bathroom.
It's just incredible.
That's the wine.
You really
That's the
must.
wine.
Okay, so
Swimming.
okay,
Yeah,
so Lydia's watching this.
because I mentally said to you from the I was like, oh, plumbing. And you're like, plumbing? I want to go to the bathroom.
So
No,
you come
I
back
was
in,
thinking-
you head out. Malachi's still
I want
missing.
to read the note.
Okay, so there's the note is written in clearly very hastily, so very blunt pencil, a bit of misspelling that basically says, "Please," with two e's, "please help. Need help here." And
Here,
Help it to read.
lots of e's everywhere.
These are a good letter.
E's are a good letter. There's lots of e's.
Yeah.
Please.
And then I flush the note down
Good.
Interesting.
Unless it ruins the plot.
Use the
Yeah.
the
There's a sign on the back of the door that says, "Only tissue paper to be flushed down this toilet. No other paper to be flushed down this toilet." Okay, fine.
As
As I was saying
Yes.
before I had to leave, my colleagues, we came across a most interesting house as we were going through, and we were able to speak to one of the occupants against all odds. My memory's completely failed, but what was the person's name?
Herod?
Eric?
Herod.
Herod. A town historian of some time ago by the name of Herod.
Oh, how did you find out about him? He's been dead. What? 40 years, maybe.
Or not entirely. He may be dead in a literal sense, but his religious person's gone. His
Is your friend?
his echoes around.
Are you back, Zephyr? Are you back?
Yeah.
Really? So not only do you talk to dogs, you also talk to ghosts.
Oh, we all spoke to the ghost, but yes, I'm very
I
talented.
can confirm that there was
The four is not noticed that Malachi is still missing.
I'm not going for I'm like quick up and down. Like, I'm not really
I'll
I'm not
cast
deep
a
in
have
this.
cast a guidance on you while you're running up the stairs. You can hold concentration for that one.
I just want to see if I see anything. It's not
Okay.
like a deep investigation. Just like if there's like and kind of see if the mates in this room.
So
If there's like
at the top of the stairs, you can see, as you get to the top of the stairs, you can see a sort of a landing that would sit on top of here, like in front of you. There's a wall here, and so this would be solid. And then there's what appears to be a corridor going off down in this direction.
Steal some shit.
So from the top of the stairs, you can see like a sort of landing area here, and you can see a corridor that would be running down this side of the building. You can just see it. You can't see any. You would assume that the rooms are further down there.
Bash will excuse himself.
Okay.
But no, yes, I talk to animals personally. That's my
Why isn't he in there?
I could teach you if you like, but the ghost spoke to the collective of us about his purgatory, being stuck as a ghost. You say he passed away about 40 years ago, did you? That would have been around the time.
I was about.
You remember, is what I mean.
I do remember. I was about 10 years old. He was in the reform house in my father's time. He was a bad man. He told lies. He upset the order of things. He routinely wrote by name about the devil that lives in the castle, and and he was advised by the guards. My father spoke to him personally and said, "You should not do this. That this is not good for the city to be spreading these rumours and lies." And he continued. He published books upon all sorts of things, and so he was taken. I was maybe 10, 11 years old. I remember him. He was a relatively old man with a cane. Put up a bit of a fight though. The guards took him to the reform house. He was at the house here once or twice, but mainly at the reform. Yes, and I don't know what became of him really.
Well, the ghost told us that his body was never given a proper burial, and so he's stuck.
Oh well, and he I can't believe. Are you suggesting that he was in some way unfairly dealt with? Are you questioning the judicial system and the management of criminals here in
That would
Vallaki?
be beyond the understanding of my simple self. Concerns with the
Good.
animals and people. But what I am saying is that it seems as though he wasn't buried. Surely you wouldn't deny anyone a burial. It seems like a very important.
Oh, absolutely important. And Lydia's like, very important. And my brother, he sees to most of the burials here, than some of the Vistani who do their own thing.
With the brother.
Meet with the casket guy. What's his name?
The untamed. We met him.
Henrik van der Voort. Henrik?
Yeah.
Yes.
Lovely guy.
Yes, we all
going
need
to walk in the room.
Are you back?
Yeah, under his breath.
Where did you go to cast?
I was in the toilet with the door closed.
In the toilet. 30
but I
feet.
can hold it up for 10 minutes. So I
Okay.
That's
Fine.
Good, that's good.
Nothing immediately in the toilet. As you...
The dogs would be in 30 feet. Do they ping at all?
No, they don't ping. But as you come back down this corridor,
no detector.
you do get a ping from above you of conjuration.
Oh,
Interesting. So as I sit down, I'll look Zephyr in the eyes and...
yeah, and I'm going to talk to him
A fundamental right.
sideways.
I'm
To
just-
be buried.
My goal
To
here
be
is
buried.
having a
You
conversation.
should be looking at the
Looking
way
at the
we're both looking at the way and telepathically
Yeah,
talking amongst ourselves.
and I'll
Okay.
tell him my message.
Okay.
And
There's
what
also
he told
probably
me.
about the time.
Conjuration.
There
Okay.
appears to be
Are you
amount of
quite well,
conjuration that's
Father?
directly above us.
Oh, I was just really enjoying your
Conjuration.
never had loving before, so
It
I
is.
don't want to go into too much detail.
Conjuration is good.
She blushes, looks a little embarrassed.
Relay that message over the next 20 seconds or so.
Which okay, so
What the maid passed on to him,
yes,
and that the fact there's a source of conjuration magic directly above us.
okay,
Very slowly, like person to person, like.
and
Just
I wonder what the
over
mechanics
conversation.
are of trying to hold a conversation while you're trying to listen to something in your head. But that's it's
No,
It'd
when
be
it's
the-
not talking, I'll like
yeah,
popping,
that
you know. Like,
burial, a fundamental human right.
once you stop talking.
And Lydia gets up and goes, "Young man, would you like to see if we could find you maybe some sweet treats in the kitchen?"
Ooh, sweets. I love sweets.
And she
As
takes...
you're going out the door, I will telepathically link with you as an action to give you access to the link back to me.
If something goes down, you can let us know what's
For
going
the
on.
next hour. Yeah.
Nice, an hour.
That's like for an hour.
But you have to have line of sight, so
To
just
establish.
to cut to establish the link,
Ah,
and then
cool. That's fine.
you have 60
Yeah.
feet line of sight to establish, and then it's fine.
That's cool.
So she takes you down to the end where there's a chef in the kitchen, and you can see sort of as you come into the kitchen, it's quite a long room, takes up the whole of this sort of end of the corridor. You can see a flight of stairs in the back of the kitchen, a sort of small wooden flight of stairs, and then there's a sort of locked door into a room beyond. There's a chef there cooking, and Lydia's like, "Oh, Eric, can you maybe find something sweet and tasty for our young friend?" And sort of Eric grunts and goes, "Oh, all right then." And he sort of disappears. He disappears into the room at the far end, which just looks like a sort of a big pantry, and comes out with some ingredients. He goes, I'll make you something. And he starts sort of stirring things around in a pan, and then he produces what appears to be, to all intents and purposes, like a waffle, and this sort of odd sort of honey syrup. It's very sweet, and pours that over the top and goes, "Here you go, lad, try that. I think you'd like that one."
That's a secret. With the kids.
And Lydia goes, "Come. We'll take you back to your friend." And as you're walking down the corridor, she whispers in your ear, "Can you tell your friends that I need to speak to them before they leave?" And carries on walking.
We've got insiders in the house. Yeah. Inside job. Oh yeah.
And carries on walking.
Relay that back to.
And then as soon as she walks in, I'm going to swap it. So I'll be in her head instead.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
that's a
can
good way.
speak freely from anywhere in the house for the next hour to me.
Telepathic.
And you see her eyes go slightly wide, and she goes, and then she
recommend going to
and then
other
she-
side of the house somewhere.
and then she stands and she goes, "Did you enjoy that?
Oh, very nice, thank you.
Excellent. Would anybody else like one? I can ask Eric to make some more if you would like."
Oh, yes, thank you.
That did actually sound rather tasty. I would like to try one.
That's exactly what they're like. They're like hot stroop waffles. And she goes, "Okay, okay." And she walks back out and down towards the kitchen. You hear in your head, "Is this working? I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing." I've heard from my brother of some of your exploits. I'd heard that the bones had gone missing. I'd not dared to tell my husband for fear of what he might do. So thank you all for fixing that problem before it became a bigger problem. We need some help. Our servants are going missing at a relatively rapid rate of knots. William's just the latest. We've lost 4 now over the last 3 or 4 weeks. And I am worried about staying here. My husband's temper is short, as you might have noticed, and I don't see my son so much anymore. He was well last time I saw him, but since Stella stopped coming, he's largely taken to his room and takes his meals there. I would appreciate maybe all would be better if my husband was taken ill in some way.
She wants to take over the town.
And then you hear, you sort of, can we have some more waffles? Thank you, Eric. Thank you.
No, she's trying to do something.
Is your son's room roughly in the? Can I like? I'm sure you would talk.
Yeah,
what corner of the house?
We can
Just
point
at the northern side. Of the house.
he tends to be right up. He has a bedroom on the floor above, but he tends to spend most of his time right up in the attic, which would be above 30 feet.
Oh, so it wouldn't be.
It's not his room.
You would put it this way.
Magic of others.
How
Never played games so serious. When death is on my lips.
The sooner the better. I've slipped a small sleeping draught into his wine, so tonight would be ideal if you
Let's do
could,
it.
if you would be so kind.
Yeah,
take this knowledge as well.
I'm excited.
If you would be so kind, and she walks back in and goes, Eric will be bringing waffles soon, and she sits down next to her husband. She goes back to being very demure.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you one. I'm not gonna ask her a question.
Goal seeing people about party leaving back and forth to keep the Burgomaster in conversation this whole time.
Can I?
He's quite happily talking about largely how important his family is in all things related to Vlaki, and how Vlaki would fall to pieces if it wasn't for the Vlakovic family.
When he's otherwise occupied, Vash should start talking about his family and how they're from Vlaki.
He's an incredible bore.
Yeah. And Vash should bring up that his family's from Vlaki, he's recently returned, all these sort of things, just to keep him engaged.
And what's your lineage?
My name is Vash Derevko.
Oh, Derevko.
My family left this area quite some time ago, probably before your father's time.
Almost certainly. I'm not sure I know anybody of that name in Vlaki anymore.
Unfortunately, apart from my parents, we're the last.
Yeah, it is interesting. Very few people leave Vlaki. Where did they go?
We travelled for quite some time.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry, go on.
Quinny,
Yes.
do you still have your owls, or who was the owl person?
I think the owls are probably out.
The owls.
Did-
They only had about 10 minutes left.
Okay. When I look outside, can I see any animals within 60 feet? Like any birds?
Perception check?
We continue the conversation.
Yeah, he's been largely boorish about all things.
The lucky FC in the current Premier League season. Nothing raises morale more for the town than a well-done football club.
We do not play football in Vlaki.
Outrageous.
More lacrosse in Vlaki, and in the summer months, maybe some croquet and lawn bowls.
Lacrosse can be a vicious game. All right. Yes, that's acceptable.
Izek would say the same thing. He plays at the reform school sometimes.
It's definitely a game for worry.
Sorry.
14 for that.
14. Yeah, you can see some,
Would my owls, when they were up, have told me the points of entrance and egress to this building?
if
when
you'd
I had
asked them
scout
to, they
around?
could have done. Yes. So if you'd wanted that information, there's the
That
doors.
was my general plan. Was
that's fine.
get some eyes
Scout
on
the
building,
place.
see- Yeah, exactly.
It appears
I'd
to
like
be a
know.
3-story building, with this being the ground floor. There appears to be a floor immediately above, which is at the top of the flight of stairs that you've seen, and there appears to be an attic of some description with a small window sort of in the eaves. There's a double set of oak doors at the front that you came through. There is a small door at the back that goes into the kitchen that Ethelred's also seen, that's out in this back corner down here. There are windows all along. There's 2 in this room. There's 1 here. There's 1 into this sort of front parlour. There's no windows here because that's a toilet and that would be weird. There's a window here into this study. And there's a window in here that the owls would have told you appears to be sleeping quarters of some description.
This bird, I'm gonna try this and we'll see if it works.
Yep.
Do birds have a language?
Yes, canonically giant owls and most birds have a language. It's one
that
of the
was
things.
a very overexcited moment.
D&D
just realised-
has in place a really cool system where most animals have a language they speak.
Yes.
It then does nothing with it. There's no way to learn them. There's no way to get them. It's such an unfortunate half measure of thing. Sorry.
Yes, they do.
The reason I ask this is because I don't need to use speak with animals at all because I can telepathically link with anything that has a language even if it doesn't share that language. As long as it understands a language.
Yeah.
So I can speak with animals.
So, rules is written, owls... Oh, no, sorry, it's only giant owls who speak giant owl. It's not actually, common owls who do.
So I...
Yeah, so a giant owl...
Yeah, I don't know how
you can try, roll me a d20. Just roll a straight luck check.
Yeah, because I'm feeling like
just roll a straight
the
luck check.
intelligence of these animals would be pretty low. It's a 6.
On luck check,
Yeah.
you can't connect with anything.
Yeah, because I'm feeling like intelligence would be pretty low on animals, but you might have a chance.
I think it's more, So, no, you don't find anything that you can communicate with.
We've had a pretty good time with this Burgomaster guy. I've been drinking some wine. I've been drinking so much.
The Baron stands up at this point and goes, I apologise. I am a poor host this evening, but it has been a busy time cleaning up and sorting things out from the wolf's head. I have an early meeting tomorrow morning with Isaac about his progress into investigating where our butler has got to. So I am going to ask you to be heading on your way now that we have a common understanding of how this city works, and I will be retiring early. I appreciate you coming to visit. And he basically stands, and it's just very clear that you are no longer welcome here. Not in a throwing you out, just in a.
Could you please?
I'm done. I'm done.
On the matter of the historian.
I'm done. Pardon?
On the matter of the historian.
Oh, some dead man from many, many eons ago.
Yes.
Yeah. What about him?
Well, what would you be? You have no issue with me looking into it.
If you wish to look into it, you're welcome to look into it.
Keep your most dangerous.
Where do you keep the corpses of your murdered political prisoners?
No, just the really vagrant prisons.
I'm going to go. We know where the prison is. We can just go check that out to start with.
So, Reform Centre, Reformation House. Some of the most dangerous ones do come here occasionally. Isaac brings them specifically for information, usually.
What's your success rate?
Do you have crime statistics?
Is it like
How
many real things?
There is very little crime in Valaki, so I would say very successful.
Why do I feel like they're lobotomizing people or something?
They're doing something wacky.
Have you still got a link open to Lydia, or have you dropped it to everybody else?
Have I talked to anyone? Yeah, I have. Yeah. I don't know if you actually have to drop it because. I'll read the.
Because you can telepathically speak to anybody.
Yeah,
so I'd say the link's independent.
Yeah, I think it is. Because it says as an action, when you're speaking telepathically, you can give that creature the ability to speak.
Okay, fine. In which case, you hear in your head, I'm going to encourage my husband to take an early night. I would imagine him being maybe quite sleepy in the next hour or so. I could ask Eric to maybe clean out the kitchens and the rubbish through the kitchen door later, maybe later this evening. Thank you for your help, Victor, and I would appreciate this very much.
Right, so we're going to leave and then come back and leave the door open for us to come back.
I have a feeling
I'm keen
that
to
there's a
take
certain bottle of wine that we have that a certain small individual could quite easily slip someone with this.
Can I
Poison
just
wine.
to hit someone
We
wine
have-
while they're sleeping?
I know we have the poison one. We just talked about it before. Well, I was going to suggest we do like that.
Or you can stab him or do it. No, you want to make it look like
he's gone to bed now. So
But
I
you're
think
the
we just do
man
it
with
while
the
he's
job.
asleep. But I think we need to use the poison wine.
Okay,
Yep, we've got other potions
So-
and stuff as well.
you head off.
Potion down the throat if he dies.
And Lydia was like, a pleasure to meet you. You're welcome anytime at our home. Thank you for your service to our town. And the Baron's like, thank you for eventually showing up to my dinner invitation. And sort of goes back into his study and closes the door. And it's clear that you have been dismissed. You see Hild sort of putting her head through the kitchen door and sort of waving a little down the
And
corridor. Like,
As Vash turns,
Mm.
he looks it dead in the eye and winks. And walks out.
okay, all right,
Really important question before you.
yeah,
The two dogs, were they
Yep.
the same breed?
both mastiffs.
Beautiful.
Random question.
Yes,
This is really like ambiguous.
yeah,
Because it doesn't say that you can't have more than one creature allowing to tell it to speak to you or not. It just says like as an action when you're speaking to it, if they're a creature, you can give that creature that goes to tell it to you, and as another action you can use. So if you were to use two actions, could you allow two people to speak to tell it?
Doesn't
I'm not. It
specifically
doesn't
say
say
you
whether
can't.
you can or can't. So
Usually
I'll-
that's
I'll
all
leave
stuff's
that
for
to
like
you.
combat restrictions, like guidance and that. You know?
yeah.
Usually.
Usually.
you can't just
Out
do
of
that guidance.
combat, I don't know. In combat, yeah, one at a time, but out of combat,
It feels like a one at a time kind of thing.
yeah,
But I
because
just
it
wanted
does.
to-
It normally will.
I think
specifically say it can be
logically-
multiple people, like a fan.
I was
It's,
thinking about concentration.
Logically, I think it's a one-on-one because otherwise it makes no sense.
Yeah.
However, out of combat, if you want to go party line as opposed to relaying the same message 8 times and then having everybody talk back, if you want to do a sort of WhatsApp group chat,
Message pins.
The
like-
thing,
Yeah.
the thing about that is the Soul Life Rogue actually mentions you can have multiple people psychically.
yeah. So
And
I
it actually
don't.
specifically
Yeah, exactly.
mentions multiple people.
So I don't
it's
think
a case
you-
of specifics versus vagueness.
Yeah, so I don't think you can, and certainly not in combat, but
That's fair
in a sort of when you're going to relay the same piece of information to everybody, unless we've gone into initiative order and there's a time limit on it, I'm happy to, you can have a messenger group chat that ceases to work in combat. Yep.
There's no like it takes an action or anything
Yeah,
like that. It's just that they require you to
Yep.
So I think you could probably like broadcast to everyone, but just not.
Yeah, so you can have your free speech in sort of combat telepathically,
So
because
where
otherwise
is
you
it
can't talk.
What races are captain? Is it Seneca?
No,
Couch up.
Oh, right. They're
Yeah.
French.
They're weird.
Really
Okay.
Are they called Eberron?
Is
Yeah,
there anything
yeah.
you want to do in the next 2 hours before you come and assault the house?
Yes.
Go on then.
Okay,
I
so
would like to take I believe I have 3 bottles of poisoned wine from memory.
Yep.
And I'd like to take off the label that says in common poison and replace it with a really fancy looking Sylvan label that still says poison, but it's in a language no one can read.
Okay,
This
okay.
now means I can give them to people and it doesn't say poison on it in big letters.
Okay. So roll a. You got proficiency in forgery?
I do not.
Then
Can
roll
I give
a
it to the
straight-
one with proficiency in mapmaker's tools for anything beneficial at all. Can I do that? to
Only
help
if he's going to put a map on it.
Okay, well that's fair.
You can roll a straight. You performance or straight dexterity, whichever you
I
would
love
prefer.
performance.
You
I
can
get-
roll
I get that
performance.
from being a satyr.
Yep.
Am I guidance myself?
You can guide yourself.
That is 16.
It's a decent looking label. It looks like it was on the bottle. It looks fairly fancy. You're pretty confident that nobody would immediately read it and go poison. You look at it and go, there's a pretty good chance that even drunk I won't drink it. It looks all right
That's
to
good
me.
enough for me.
Yeah, that, you know, it's as good as it's going to get.
Wonderful.
Okay. Anything else
Are
that
we
anybody?
staying within the house?
You can do whatever you want for an hour and a half, but it's now late evening.
Would anyone like me to go invisible and just go crawling around the outside of the house?
Again, I think we really don't want to get spotted immediately after that. I think
I can be invisible.
Yeah, but
As soon as you make an action, you have to.
Should we go
No,
to...
it's if I attack something or cast a spell.
What if the dogs can
none of it's
smell
standard invisibility.
Because they can still eat.
If we go to the pub or something and just hang out for a bit?
Yes, more wine.
Well,
Yes,
I
I think we should vacate the premises.
And
I would love,
Yep.
I would love
And I
some.
might ask the
Yeah,
kids
it's
in
not
the
coming
pub.
for
Yep.
Uh,
Okay, so you pop back to the Blue Water Inn. Yep.
And what's the name of the...
Brain Brum.
You're going to
No,
make him
the dumped girlfriend, what's her name?
Yellow?
Oh,
Stella.
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 Can I ask the kids if they know who Stella is?
Oh, they do know who Stella is.
That's a really good
You
thing.
heard this
We
girl
need to
called
talk
Stella.
Oh, Stella?
Tomorrow.
Yeah, Stella's weird as. She used to be pretty cool. So she is Mrs. Watcher's, you know, and they point over in the corner of the bar and they go, see him over there? That's Nikolai. That's her brother over there. And he's like just sitting drinking with like a couple of the hunters that you've seen before. It's just sort of young noblemen just drinking. And it's like, so Stella, you know, she was all right. She used to like sometimes give me like a gold coin or something and do some shopping for her and things like that, and she'd let me keep the change, and she was like really nice. And then she, you know, she was all right. She lives out in the Watcher house with Mrs. Watcher and her brothers, and she was okay. And then she just went a bit, well, she started having turns, and you know, they were a bit weird.
She lost control of her body.
Well, she dropped to her knees. She dropped to her knees in the middle of the town square, and she screamed, and she held her head and screamed, and they came and they took her away,
Might have something to do with that conjuration.
And then
Sorry, is her name Stella Watcher?
Yes.
That's amazing. I love that.
Where did they take her to?
I reckon.
Well, I think they just took her home, like to her house. Like they didn't drag her off nowhere. They just like picked her up and went, "It's all right, Stella." And then they took her home. And then we saw her again, and she looked a bit peaky, like a bit pale and a bit shaky. And she started to get a bit thin, and she didn't give us no money anymore. And then, you know, she had other turns, and you know, you'd come and you'd go, "Hi, Stella," and she'd jump. She'd jump. Like she'd seen a ghost, or she was scared. And then there were a couple of other ones where you saw her and she was like this. And I saw her once. Meow.
Tumblr kid. Incurable that.
Weird.
Does she still see me out in town every now and then?
I've not seen her now for...
Where is ethically talking to these kids?
Oh, just like in the bar, I guess. Unless you've gone somewhere else.
No, just in the bar.
They seem to have got their confidence back from the last time that you saw them when they wouldn't come out of the bedroom.
That's good. That's good.
Probably not paying attention to a couple of kids.
Question,
Yeah, in the corner.
Emma. As far as medical institutions in this town goes, anything beyond the church, as far as we've seen?
Not that you've seen.
Okay, cool. Maybe we should just try like a restoration on her or something. Stella, I mean.
One of us has it.
So
I have,
I think
I do, from my staff. I get, no, never mind.
I can.
I need to actually read what
Look, to be honest, if we can get close enough to it, I can touch it. I can cast identify and see what's wrong. Identify can tell what spells are being affected someone.
Can I talk to continue with the kids?
Yes.
Her brother,
and lesser
does he like get along well with his sister, or did he?
Nothing.
Well, didn't see them so much together. He more comes in here and drinks, doesn't he, with like the other guys. Stella, she weren't much for like coming in the bar or anything like that, but she was kind. I used to like her. She would always have a nice. She'd be like, "Hello." Sometimes she'd get me a pastry or something. That would be nice. She was lovely. I've not seen her now. Maybe more than a month. Maybe.
Okay. I feel like Stella. I'm not saying this near the kids. I feel like Stella is a tomorrow problem. I feel like tonight we gotta work out what.
Yeah, definitely need to speak to Stella Fun.
Absolutely. Tomorrow morning, probably.
So we need to do this house.
I think Ethelbert needs to start acquiring some titles from a young age. Burgomaster of Luck.
I think marrying
Stella is not him.
No,
Based on Stella.
I know.
Are we adopting our
Historically,
I don't know. Burgomaster Bash has a ring to it.
it does.
I think perhaps we should go with a local who understands the nuance.
It's the one place that
situation.
isn't ruled by vampire.
Are you sure it's not ruled by
Oh, the irony.
The half's important.
But the irony. It is good.
Long and just.
I'll definitely rule for long.
Filling me with confidence, Ash. What I would like to do before
Yep.
we get this is I have anime friend. Oh no, sorry, I don't do this. Never mind.
Okay. Is there anything anybody else? Is there anything anybody else wants to do before we fast forward to you heading back to this house?
Do we have a broad plan for what we're doing tonight?
Really?
Go in when
Are we?
the
No, like importantly, are we killing the guy? Are we poisoning
No, we're
him?
not
What's
killing the
plan?
guy. We're just going to check out what
Okay,
the
could he put some
conjuration
ray
is.
sense up?
Oh, you're not going to kill him.
Oh, if we have to, we will.
Well, he's out of sight.
We will begin the plan with not killing him.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
We
that's
need a
how we
backup
end the
plan
plan.
to kill them.
I do like backup plans.
So,
Okay, we have an
I'm
awful,
less keen for
we have
that. More
plan
for
A,
the
investigation.
justice.
an
Get some
awful lot of
information.
that poison.
Anything dodgy, Ethelbert is in charge.
Figure out.
I can mentally link with them.
Plan B.
Little-
Plan B,
The other thing I would love to
kill
do,
everyone.
if
Yep.
it's possible, I
Plan
believe
C,
Harleen is
fireballs.
holding the potions that we have.
Fashions
From the
playing
witches, one of those
explain
was,
what that
I believe,
concentration
been
magic is,
damaged.
showing
I think, or did
Yes.
something awful.
My main
There was the
interest
Or
love
it's
one, there
useful.
was the cackling plague, and then there was the
My
third
main
one.
interest
Oh, it's
is
Quinn-
in
as,
knowledge,
she got
like,
them.
I think she has them. I don't have them. I think anyone else does.
Downstairs.
Okay, I'll find them.
So if she
There
does,
was,
I'd love to catch up with her and be like, hey, we need to poison someone. Can I have the
Downstairs
poison?
for
Yes. Okay.
That's where the
I don't know if
I-
I'd use it, but
Yeah, no, I'm
Sorry.
happy to do that. You can do that.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Because he did say they take real.
Anything?
Yeah.
Anything anybody else
Real
wants to do?
nasty criminals,
So,
like the
we get
historian.
into the basement
Like
first
people that tell
from the kitchen.
Is that
Yeah.
the basement?
Yeah, the
There's
basement.
downstairs with a locked door.
Oh,
Let's
you-
see.
We go straight down there to get the historian's body.
okay.
We go upstairs to find out what the conjuration magic is.
Uh-huh.
Go up and talk to Victor.
Yes.
Then go down and take care of the Burgomaster.
My number one focus for this mission
I wanna know what
is
Victor's
knowledge, like any missives to Strahd or anything that linked to him to Strahd,
We've got to go through that
or
stuff.
anything related to like why the luck is as well.
How many spells do you have left?
I've got all my first
And then I'll make my
spells,
decisions up.
and I've
I'm
got a
pretty
couple
sure
things
by
So-
Xavier is
I
not
don't know.
neutral.
You've got.
But
How are your spells looking?
most of my good
Yeah.
first
I've
good spells
got,
are
I think
I'm good.
one
Yeah.
first level.
Was I
and two
correct?
third level.
Yeah, I think she's got them.
Do you have one first level spell left?
We have 2 first levels and 2
I've got
third
6 first
Oh,
levels.
you've got 2/3 left.
You've got
Okay.
six.
Oh, you're okay.
levels.
Loads.
That's
All right.
Plan C is a fireball. 2
Okay.
more.
I think we've got enough to survive this.
Yeah, okay.
What do you think? How are your stuff?
I just got like one spell slot.
Not for your range track.
All right, are we going?
I'd love to wait for tomorrow to prep some better spells for
No,
infiltration.
no, she specifically
Alright, we're doing it tonight. We're doing it tonight.
Most of the stuff I do is all cantrips.
Yeah,
Was
well,
there
I
a
could
couple
get
hours
past
of
that
the
trait, so we could wait till tomorrow.
prayer together so we can have a roll on that?
Yes.
Can I? Is it possible to help with that in any way?
No,
Cool.
I don't think so.
Did anyone get any like not human vibes from the Burgomaster, or is there any way you could tell?
I-
That's why you use detect magic.
I
It's in
think
magic
the
range.
dogs aren't dogs
Yeah, I think that.
So
because
do I.
when I spoke to them, they spoke like
Well, it wasn't-
intelligent.
It wasn't polymorph.
No, it
Not
wasn't
only one,
magic.
but they could just be like I don't know what Queen's familiar with, but they could just be outsiders. They could be vagrants from another place, another realm.
So you've
That
got
could be the reclamation.
you've got
They could be altered without using
Queenie.
magic.
You've got pale tincture,
That
which
was
was
the
mother's milk.
Pale tincture.
Yeah,
And that's
which is DC6 con,
DC 6.
16
Oh, 16.
con, and then it's 1d6 poison damage and poisoned,
Okay.
and then it's saving throw over 24 hours with 1d6 poison damage on a failed save. Can't be healed by anything else.
Oh,
you
okay,
have-
awesome.
If you have, you need 7 successful saving throws.
That's wild. Cool. So we have this horrendous poison from the hags. We have the poisoned wine. Ethelby's got poison as well.
The one from the hag will actually keep him sick for a while.
Yes. That was what I was just saying. Quinny runs off to Harleen wherever she is.
That would probably suit the Burgomaster's wife's purposes if she doesn't want him dead. That would make him sick for
Does she
a
not
while.
want him dead?
She said poison. She said if she fell ill,
I've got
He's
assassin's
dead,
blood.
so
if you can cover it up long enough.
So now let's start to
Poison for 24 hours.
just need 10 times. But yes, yes, we have
Okay.
poison. We have poison. That's the
All right.
I'm gonna
Okay.
give Mother's
Any-
Milk to the rogue, I think.
Okay. Anything else you want to do before you head back? And which way are you going in? Do you have a plan?
kitchen side.
Yeah, I can. Oh, I've got parts of that trace prepped. Awesome. Cool. We can be very stealthy.
Right before we get to the door, I will probably use my Cittern to cast Fox on myself.
I will, at the same time, pass that trace on us. We will all go very stealthy.
I will.
That is concentration, but
How
that's
do I use it on?
what do you got?
2 minutes. Are we going to be in and out?
Depends on what we do.
Right.
We've made the plan.
I'm going to use Harleen as a party tracker for now. All right.
We only
So-
do 30 feet for passing that trace to work.
Or if you'll do it straight, we'll also once. No, that's only when the spell starts. You don't have to say 30 feet.
Mm,
It says when the spell is
Okay.
cast. But it lasts for what, an hour?
up to an hour, yeah.
So does my Bison.
If we're in here for an hour, we've got bigger problems.
Exactly.
Okay. So you are at the back door. I'll use Harleen for now as a party token. If you all decide to go in ridiculously different directions, you can.
Let's stay together.
I'll add you in at the time.
I'll also have my detect magic
Someone
up
look
permanent.
in the window first.
Okay, so absolutely. So you look in.
I know around about where in the house the magic was. So.
You look in the window. As you are you going past without a trace?
Yes. correct.
Okay,
Passing that
so
trace.
roll stealth checks.
You can add 10 to whatever you roll.
My stealth's usually pretty good, actually.
But I got a dirty 20.
Stealth check
And you can add an extra 10.
to the roll.
Wow.
19 from Quinny.
Okay.
23.
I rolled 6 on my dice.
I rolled an 8 on my dice until the 23.
19.
Yeah, but you're like
Okay.
But the extra 10.
No.
At a druid.
Good 19. What's
Is
the
that?
extra 10?
No, I've got proficiency and stuff. What you get?
29.
Okay.
I'm like, someone's got to
29.
get a good fight.
So you
Yeah, passing that trace is better for just not fucking up.
so you creep round. You don't. You find it's quite soft soil. You manage to miss any of the gravelly bits on the drive. You have a look in the windows. Everything on the ground floor appears to be dark. You don't, looking through the windows, see the dogs as you're looking in on the ground floor. And as you look in through the study window, it's dark inside, but for what it's worth, you can't see them. Or
Even
See
with dark vision?
with dark vision, you still can't see them.
I just want to check this for the future reference. The
Yep.
door at the back, is there any sort of gap between the floor and the door? If I wild shape into something real small, can I crawl out underneath it?
You get to the back, and the door's ajar.
It's a jar. It's window. Cool. Yeah. She specifically said she was going to.
So the back door.
Well, my point was more
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
if it gets closed, because what I was going to say is if we run to the dogs, I can deal with them and cause an absolute ruckus, and I'll be an animal so no one will know who I am. And that'll also then create a distraction for you. I think speaking with animals and turning into it is pretty
Back will carefully open the door a little wider just to look in.
Okay, so you open the door a little bit wider, and the kitchen, it appears to be deserted. So you look in, the door at the far end that Etherdwy knows is a pantry is shut, but there does not appear to be anybody. There does not appear to be anybody in the kitchen.
Where are we going first?
Locked door.
Locked door.
Locked door first. It's right here. Cool. Might as well do it first.
Can I do a sleight of hand on the locked door?
We might have to go.
Can I hold an action?
Can you use guidance?
Yeah, so you can do lock picking. Yep.
What does that mean?
So it would be usually dexterity and proficiency.
It's basically a slight hand trick.
Yeah, sleight of hand.
Because it's basically I've apparently got proficient and it's the same thing whatever I roll.
Okay, 37 on the average.
Say.
Okay.
You've got plus 16. Oh, you've got your expertise inside of
No,
that.
because I also got giving
Oh,
gloves
that's
as
right.
well.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So
God, probably necessary.
yes.
Hey, look, I think that is a fun number to roll.
so you quite happily open. You open all the
Open it
doors
without even-
My heart.
on this floor. So
The door like unlocks
Pardon?
itself just seeing you.
Sorry.
As my heart actually,
I open for you.
as soon as he opens the,
Yeah.
the tractor or whatever it is,
okay.
I'll cast Petition of pretty good in equal.
Okay. So you open this door here, and that and you look through. It appears to be like kind of like a preparation room, and nothing more than that. So it's a preparer for like the next meal. It's all sort of ready to go. There's a door down there, which is a pantry. This door you know because you came through it. That's the door into the hall from the kitchen, and there's a flight of stairs in this bottom corner.
Yeah, that's
There's no door at the bottom of those stairs. There's just a flight of stairs. You're in the back door. This is the back door, and that's open.
going down the back down those stairs. No, down.
There's no stairs down.
The stairs go up.
The stairs go
Yeah, cool.
up.
I don't think. Have we seen any evidence of the basement?
No.
Yeah, cool. I don't
Oh,
think we
okay.
have.
Well, then we might as well go up.
So this looks like you've got your big. Yeah, this looks like you've got your big stairs in the front of the house, the main stairs, and this is a staircase from the kitchen.
So before we go walk into the cook's bedroom, where are we going? Are we going with Burgomaster first? We want to check out the magic first.
Check it.
Let's not wander around.
Just the magic first. I think we're good.
Cool. Let's go to the other stairs that we know aren't, that we know don't open up into someone's bedroom. Yeah?
So we'll take the main stairs.
Okay, so you're going.
Creeping through the house.
You're going to creep through the house. Okay.
I will go second in the marching order if I can.
I'll go last.
Who's first?
I don't know. Just not me.
You probably.
Actually, I've got fairly decent hit points because my com's really high. I'm happy to go first if people want me to. We just might lose the pass of that.
I'll sneak at the front.
Okay.
I'll be behind that.
Okay.
Scouting ahead.
Keep the path that interests me.
Stealth checks.
It's a-
That's a 27.
32.
31.
Not sure what it's the only reason.
Yeah, that's 6 then. So.
Yeah,
Is there any
16,
pluses or anything to us?
Yeah,
Plus
so you're
10.
adding 10
Oh, adding 10. Oh, 22.
on top of your modifier.
Yeah, 22 total.
Quinny has like put socks over the goat hooves for the first time ever, so that there's not just like clip popping constantly.
Nice.
My soft feet.
My soft shoulder feet.
Okay. So as you as you creep, all of the doors along here are generally open. As you creep along and as you look in, as you go past, this appears to be there's 4 beds in here. So you've I've got a lot of status conditions now. It's good, isn't it? There's like 4 beds in here. So you would assume this was servants' quarters of some description. You've certainly only seen 2 servants while you've been here. So it looks like there's a It looks like there should be a bigger staff here than you've currently seen any evidence of. The dining table has all been cleared. It's all spotless. The study is...
a bit of the greenery that was decorating the room.
Nice. The study is empty. There's no sign of the dogs.
Probably watching
The parlour at the front is empty. You can see that sort of neatly folded on the chairs are what looks like costumes that have been dyed. They're a sort of really odd yellowy orange, some kind of costume that they've been sewing. There's obviously preparations for this festival. But other than that, you are quite comfortable with skill checks in the 30s, high 20s and 30s, that nobody is aware of you and there is nothing on this floor. Okay, so you're going upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you climb, creeping up the stairs to the first floor. Malachi recognises where he comes out, which is on the landing, looking down across at the corridor on the far side. I'm just going to move Harley
So
over
from
there.
my detect magic earlier,
Yeah.
I can determine where the magic was emanating from.
Yep, so you would... I'm just going to move her over and you'll get some vision as we do that. There we go, it's fine.
Right above the dining room.
Yeah, so who's got dark vision?
120 feet.
Not me.
Okay, because it is dark up
Which
here.
is why I'm standing behind Ethically and I'm guiding Ethically with my hands on shoulders. I can see.
Okay, because it is pretty dark up here. So Vash can see.
So that's, if we get into like a fight or something, then we should do right. But I can
Not right now.
I do
I can
explain that thing. That's concentration.
It is.
No,
No, it's not. You just hold the phone in your hand for 10 minutes.
So I do that. We won't lose self. Mind you, once we get into a fight, stuff doesn't really.
That stuff goes out the window.
Okay,
So it would be great for the assassin.
Oh, it's so good.
I'll put some vision on anyway
I'm
because I'm
surprised.
kind.
Yeah, no,
There we go.
Harpers don't get Harpers. Harpers.
That makes
I-
sense.
I-
Weird, isn't it? So
I think too many.
you can see that corridor. So you know. So this is what you can see. So you've got the landing here, and you know that there's a corridor that runs across there because you saw it earlier. That there's a corridor here. You get to the top of the stairs, and then that runs across over where the dining room would be. You know that your magic pinged from right over the other side. So over here.
So that's where we'd be heading slowly.
So that you know that that's where your magic
That's
tinged.
where I'd be leading everyone to.
Okay.
We can do this quietly, not alert anyone.
All right.
And then get the movement.
So are we creeping?
We're creeping.
Okay.
We want to creep.
Stealth check.
So I passed to them.
Are we keeping roughly the same marching order?
33.
Yeah, I'm right.
Okay.
I got exactly the same thing.
28.
Oh, that's not that dress one.
An hour.
That's good.
We're all 28. Natural 13.
So everybody's creeping.
Self check.
28.
Cool. So again, you're pretty confident that you are as quiet can be at the moment.
What a good spell.
House without a treasure.
Etherdwy, when you get to the sort of end of this corridor. So there's this wall here, which is the sort of stairwell goes all the way up to the ceiling. You get down here, as you sort of peek around the corner, you see a corridor that's running the entire length of the floor. So this would be on the far side of the building. And you can see the mastiffs currently lying, asleep in the hall. You can see both of them lying asleep in that hall.
I just sort of take a couple of little soft shuffles back and pat my friend on the shoulder and
Can I, wandering out as animals often, how can I guesstimate how good these things are going to be at spotting us? Like, is it realistic for us to sneak past them?
You got the feeling that these are really quite well trained guard dogs. You think it would be unlikely that you would be able to move through that hallway in any format without them being aware of you.
What if we try the other stairs? Well, I'll just talk basically.
Party line.
What if we go?
I'm loving the fact that you're all like this, going, should we go back down the stairs? Should we? We're sneaking quietly.
Actually, better question.
Yes.
If I try to animal friendship dual cast up both of them, or not dual cast upcast,
yes,
and they fail to save, will they wake up and know that someone's trying to cast magic on them, or what do you reckon?
I think they have disadvantage on because they're asleep.
That would be nice.
Well, I think they would have on the save. They would have disadvantage on the save.
Awesome.
Because they're asleep.
Awesome.
Whether they would attack you when they woke up, don't know.
Like
Probably.
They probably wake up from the spell.
Not necessarily.
Okay, so it might just fail and then be fine. How do we feel about risk? Like, do you have any other option?
I can command them to go back to sleep.
So they did not. They did not trigger on your magic either.
Okay,
so when you were detecting magic,
they just trigger.
They did not trigger.
Magic being cast.
But I
you
assume
don't think
if they're
they're
not
magical
animals and
then.
they try to cast them, it just doesn't target them even, so it won't
Yep.
bother them.
Yep.
Cool. So we'll know if they're animals doing this.
Tony, do you want one of us to go up? Because if they're facing this way, so
they're just curled up in the floor.
I can go over the roof and go past them.
I don't think you'll get past them even on the roof. And they're guard
I
dogs.
think
That's
that's
what
why
they
the
do.
staircase was left open. It's because like
I can fly past
Can
them.
you hold an action to command them if one of you fails and
I'll
wakes
hold
up?
an action.
Can I go to the other staircase and go behind it?
I really think you try to get past them and wake up. Just let them do something.
Let her do her job.
Second
Like
level
it.
animal friendship targeting the both of them.
Okie dokie.
So can they make me a wisdom save, DC 16?
Yeah, because they are.
I'm assuming
Dogs.
they are animals?
They are animals.
Wonderful.
Wisdom save.
Wisdom save. Me too, mate.
Mm-hmm. 12.
Brilliant, that's a fail.
Okay. And the other one. See, I think the other one's probably more stupid, but we shall see.
Oh, this isn't even concentration. Awesome.
No, I think once you've done it, they're
It just works for the day.
Yeah.
24-hour duration.
So it's cast.
One of them's done. One of them's our friend. So just don't hurt it, and it'll be fine.
What about the other one?
We're just about to see.
Precious.
Yeah, it's a friend as well.
Wow.
Awesome.
The crit
Both of them
fail.
are our friends.
It's like it does wake up and it just sort of smiles at you and its tongue's lolling out and it's like the biggest, cuddliest looking thing. It's like totally.
This
Yeah.
spell has never worked for me before. It's always failed in every other fight.
But that's because they had advantage on it because we were hostile to them. These guys were asleep.
Yep.
So we can
Dogs
go
are,
past.
dogs are out of the equation.
Yeah.
Go past quite.
I'm impressed one got 12, but yeah, it was a crit fail.
You couldn't even be fine. Just don't hurt me.
Okay. All right. So you back to crawling around the corner now.
I think so. Yeah, they are charmed for the next 24 hours. So
Okay.
I am.
So as you walk around the corner, the dog sort of wanders up to Ethidwe and gives him a big lick up the side of his leg. And sort of,
They're probably
Yeah.
bigger than me, so I'm a bit
well, he's asleep he's on the
Actually-
floor, so he's like,
Are they friends to us or friends to you?
I believe they're friends to me, but like if they go to attack you, I can ask them not to.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. Sorry, I probably should have checked that before we left. Yeah,
fine.
they're charmed.
You
They're,
could use this to
they're
your
charmed
advantage.
by you for the spell's duration.
Let's see your allies
Was
as
that
allies.
100 gold pieces you owe me Ethid week? Well,
No, but I would like to see if the dogs know what's going on.
yep,
Like, because I can speak dog, and
you can speak dog. You
while
can.
everyone else is sneaking past,
Yep.
I might go up to one of them
Okay.
and just say, "Do you know what's happening with Victor?"
Bad.
What sort of bad?
Nasty.
Does he eat people?
They just laugh.
a dog.
No.
This is a nasty piece of work.
Magic?
Let's get to this magic.
And they just look a bit confused at the magic thing.
They're not going to understand that.
Cool. These were smart of us.
Let's get to the source of this conjuration
Alright,
magic.
stay here. Don't tell anyone we're here, alright? Big surprise. That's great. Yes, sir.
And they roll on the back, like with wanting tummy scratches, and they like
That's all
totally
quick.
chill
Someone
down.
scratch
Give
your
them a
eyes.
quick tummy scratch as you
Was,
go
was
fast.
there your friendship?
Okay.
Would they fight for you or would they?
No, they won't.
They just stay out of it.
They're charmed, so like, you know.
Yeah, if they get
it's that-
injured,
it's
they
the
become
worst description
uncharmed.
in D&D 5th edition, because it's like, yeah,
They
the
take any
thing,
sort
the
of
thing
injury,
likes
they-
you.
The charm
I
likes.
don't know what that means. But,
So it's a case of they'll just stay out of the fight.
I think with these guys, to be fair, if there was a fight, and they were involved in it, they would work for the Baron
that's
because
fair.
that's what they're
It's only a second.
brought up to do. Okay, so as you're creeping down this corridor, you can see two other corridors. You can see this corridor running back up, so this would be on the wall where the study is, on the floor below, and you can see a further corridor running about halfway up. That's about here.
And the magic was.
Awesome. Which one's the master's bedroom?
Hey, dogs, where does Big Man sleep?
And they sort of get up, and they go and sort of start wandering down this corridor.
Alright, that's fine. You should go back to sleep, though. You don't need to show us. Just just tell us.
And they come back again
Yeah,
and lie down.
relax, right?
Your
Have a
magic
nice time.
was pinging over here,
And they pointed out the Burgomaster a little further down.
down here.
Alright,
So we'll check the magic out first.
let's check the magic. I think that's going to be Victor's room. Let's do it.
It'll be Victor's room, but Victor should still be in the attic, theoretically speaking.
What makes you say that?
He spends all of his time in the attic.
I thought he spent all his time in his room.
No?
No,
No,
his
it's
mum
in
said
the
in the attic.
attic. I paid attention to the attic.
Okay, so you can see a door here. that
Here's
you-
my thought. Maybe we do the Burgom. I suppose equally has got a chance of going wrong.
Yeah.
I think we'll leave the Burgomaster alive.
Okay, so you can see a door here. A door. So you can see a door here that the dogs have told you is the door to the master's bedroom. You can see a door here. You
Good
can see a door here. As you look down this corridor, you can see a door here, a door here, a door here, and a door there. So this door, you know, is the master's bedroom.
The one to the left.
So, which corridor are you all going? Are we splitting the party? Where are you
I think
heading?
we're all heading to the magic.
To the magic. So
I'm
the
gonna
magic
stay
you
fairly
got
back
over
at this
here.
point, 'cause we
I'll be
don't
close
wanna
to the front.
lose.
I'm going to take
I've
a guess.
got the better knowledge of magic, so I'll go up the front.
I'm going to take a guess that we get this good point up. I'm going to take a guess that these rooms are not the sun's rooms.
Yeah.
Should we just?
I think
open
the
door
sun's
and
room.
see?
That's fine. Okay. So I think the sun's room's there.
What
I don't want to go near
What
there because I'm
kid
holding
wants a
concentration on
bedroom
the spell, but
adjacent
someone
to
else
their
should check it out.
The magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Okay, we go magic. Okay,
I'm going with magic.
right. So,
By all means, stay in the hallway.
so which of
Oh,
these two
I'm gonna be
doors?
near, I just want to be at the back.
Which of these two doors would you like to open?
Where was the magic emanating from exactly?
Over here.
So probably the second door.
The second
You
door.
don't want to check this one first?
No.
That's what point is so surprising. Everyone says.
You've got to fiddle with it a little bit. The connection gets a little loose.
Yeah,
It might actually just stop.
Yeah, so it's mine. Sorry.
I don't
You've got to
know.
give it a bit of a fiddle.
So go on then.
Going through.
Door number 1. Or door number 2.
Door number 2.
What's funny is
All right.
never
That's what the magic is.
I was about to say never has that worked, but it just
Okay. So, as you roll a stealth check,
All of us?
if you're all going up there, yeah.
I'm hanging back in the hall. Do I move on?
Not if you're not moving.
well, that must be that's 26.
28.
Okay.
14.
So I am definitely moving to where I am. With plus 10? Damn, that's awful. 22.
Okay.
Hang on.
So, Malachi, as you
31.
start to walk down this hall, you trip over one of these mastiffs that's sprawled. Don't do it any damage. It's not uncharmed,
Oh, good.
but there is this sort of
Who's that?
noise.
I immediately
And
drop
this,
my bar-
and
bar
this,
stick.
and the dog goes like it's just had its tail trodden on.
I immediately drop my bark skin
I did all those
and cast the invisibility
pictures and made them all
on Malachi.
Okay. So Malachi is invisible.
Yes. I drop it.
Okay, so Malachi is invisible, having tripped over and accidentally trodden on a mastiff. So the mastiff has howled. Woo!
There.
Perception check
From us.
for anybody who wants to make one.
23.
Oh, hell yeah.
20.
20 perception? 27.
Okay, you hear sort of from that room at the far end, and sort of the sound of sort of blankets moving and the bed creaking a little bit,
You're
and
invisible.
then it goes quiet again.
Okay. If he wakes up,
They're not getting it on.
carry the kid and get on the ceiling, Zephyr can run and I can hide, and Malachi's invisible.
So
The kid has a name.
Sorry.
and I think we quite
Etherdweed can stab him in the face.
The Charlie member of this party.
I'm sorry.
I'll go.
Etherdweed can stab him
sorry.
in the face
I'll
and
leave.
finish him off.
Not when he's got 2 mastiffs under his thumb.
Well, no, at the moment the mastiffs are asleep and under his thumb.
Like me, but,
Okay, so you creep reasonably quietly.
I'll go into the room quiet.
Okay, into this room, and it appears to be a dressing room, and you can see on like a dressmaker's mannequin in the corner a beautiful, exquisite bridal gown covered in sort of butterflies and flowers and sort of lace things, and on the wall, which is over here. So there's 2 doors here. This is the door you came in.
This is another
There's
room of Burgomaster.
2 doors here. There's a door here behind the. So there's a
magic's
bridal
in
gown.
this room.
Yes, and the magic is. Yeah, so the magic, you've not got detect magic up. The magic pinged in this room. So it's there's a mirror hanging on the wall. There's this beautiful bridal gown. There's 2 doors on that north wall, and 1 door on this south wall, and the door that you came
Look
in.
around for anything that could possibly be magical.
The only things really in this room, there's a dressing table with some like creams and the hairbrush. Nothing that strikes you as particularly, fancy, but not particularly exciting.
anything better with
The bridal gown and a mirror,
Is the
Okay, so I will walk up to the mirror.
right?
I won't touch the surface of the mirror itself, just like the where it's.
So it's a heavily ornate,
ornate
gold framed, gilded mirror.
Yes, I do. Which is why I'm saying so the mirror's here. The mirror is here. Emma?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to touch it on the side here.
Yeah.
And cast Identify.
Okay, as you cast Identify on the mirror, words appear all the way around the frame.
Sexy. It's like a mirror.
Okay, so what kind of mirror is
I'm
this?
gonna have a look at Identify.
This is this is a looking glass spell. There is a spell on this mirror. This is a magic mirror of some description. You don't know exactly what it looks into.
But it's definitely a way of communicating.
Yeah.
I want to have a look in the mirror.
That does not go well.
Invisible. And see
Or
if I
it could
see
be like a
anything.
demon.
You look in the mirror,
Yeah.
and you can't see anything.
And then I freak out for a second and go like, oh, that's right.
Do you freak out loudly? You can roll another stealth check.
Can I examine the dress and see if the butterflies are real butterflies?
The butterflies, you can examine the
Yes,
dress. The butterflies are made of sort of very fine lace. They're beautifully crafted.
Is the writing common
That's a
druidic?
26 on myself.
Is the writing common druidic, sylvan, or uncommon?
The writing appears to be in common.
What does it say?
Are you
I'll read it from where I'm sitting, because I'm standing here and I'm looking at it like this.
are you reading it in your head?
I'm reading it in my head.
Yeah, I'm gonna read it in my head.
I'm not reading it out
You're
loud.
all reading it in your head. Okay.
I am not. As I said,
will not read it out loud.
I'm skulking in the doorway.
Okay. So what you can see is we can see our coloured faces floating on the shaken pool, down in cool places, dim and very, very cool.
Oh, I've heard that before, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where though. What was the first line?
We can see our coloured faces.
Oh.
Was it maybe in the
She's in league with the
place
hags.
underneath the
So-
no, that was all in
She's in league.
that was all in druid.
Sorry, that's right, yeah.
My
If
detect
it's
magic would have been
Being in common is odd because magic usually.
So as
Coloured
you
faces.
yeah.
like I'm not purposely looking at. I'm like looking at it from like this sort of an angle, so I don't act
Oh,
as though
it's
I'm looking at it.
Yep, that's fine.
I think it's an evil magic item.
It's definitely a way of two-way communication. Sure.
Just checking.
Do
Okay.
you know that for a fact?
Well, it's a definitely way of remote
Yep.
viewing.
So you think there is another mirror that's a sort of twin to this mirror
Just looking sideways.
that has a view of this room
A wedding
through
dress
this mirror.
made it where they had real butterflies that come alive when the like groom kisses the bride, and then the butterflies all fly off.
That's the case.
I like the design.
I mean, you know,
I'm not
Aliana.
standing.
It's very cool.
Because I'm standing.
I am,
but
but
I'm just.
Look,
I'm
I
purposely
just
standing like here,
Yeah, I think I'll add it to the
and I
wedding
will
plan.
take my fingers off.
Aliana absolutely has a wedding scrapbook
So-
stored between the war plans and the
So,
treasure.
As roll who read in their head.
I did.
Okay, so everybody who read
I can't
that
read.
in their head,
Still unaware.
roll a wisdom save.
So this section from Alice in Wonderland.
Not Alice in Wonderland, no.
So-
But but close.
It's floating around in my iPhone 10.
Sorry?
14.
19 for me.
Okay.
Is that a save?
Mm-hmm.
Wisdom save.
Wisdom
Oh
save.
god. Yeah, once again, this bode's really ill. I still need to get out of here. Oh, I haven't read it. Well, why don't you explain what you saw?
When we find out what the wisdom save is about.
Butterfly dress feels fake to me, but maybe that's just because I've been pounded.
Roll straight D20.
Me?
Anybody. Whoever wants to roll D20.
14! Oh, sorry, I thought you meant multiple people, or I would have.
No, that's fine. So you see another room in the. You see another room on the other side of this mirror. It's absolutely beautifully adorned. There's these sort of arched doorways and beautiful stone walls, and there's tall panes of glass in these sort of leaded windows with sort of ornate hinges that look out of a parapet. And there's this
Ash very carefully stands like this.
there's these
Who can see that?
there's a four-posted
Well, I'm smoking in the
I
door.
can see
four-poster bed,
Oh,
a four-poster bed with red velvet drapes and golden sort of tassels, and these tall candles sort of burning with this sort of steady light. There's these silk curtains sort of billowing at the window. It's absolutely beautiful. There's this huge ornate oaken headboard with a large engraving of what looks like vines and forests, but all forming what looks like a huge Z, all twisted together.
Does it look like the same building I saw when I stuck my head through that portal to Stroud's place?
The stonework looks. It depends whether are you looking at it.
So I'm not in the room. I'm wanting to stand in the doorway, so I'm too far away to read, but I can see.
Can I see what's going on if I'm
So,
in front of the mirror?
You don't see this.
Oh,
Or is
okay.
that only the people that like read?
It's
Don't do it in the head.
So you don't see this.
Oh, cool.
You see this.
And I'm looking
And you don't see it. And what you see is lying on the bed under these sort of silken sheets is a young woman, and who appears to be asleep with her hair sort of cascading over the pillow, fast asleep. There's a sort of like silk slipper on her foot and one on the floor by the side of the bed. She's got black hair and it's cascading. And roll straight intelligence. You don't recognise her, but there is something about her that is incredibly familiar, and you can't put your finger on it.
How old would you say this lady is?
She would be in her... Probably difficult to tell through a mirror of somebody who's asleep, but you would say she's in her 20s. She's not... She's late teens, 20s.
Does she look like the guy in the bar that we saw? That's the brother of that.
So do you think, does it look anything like Nikolai Watcher?
Yes.
No.
I'm
So as you're running through sort of NPCs you have met so far, doesn't look like Irina. You can't quite place it. There's something... No, there's something about her that's familiar.
The Burgomaster, like
So we have no idea.
I'm going to step away.
Okay.
Step out of range.
Okay.
Pretty weird.
Okay.
Step out of range.
with the bridal dress as well.
Bridal dress is real odd.
It's almost like it's been promised bride.
The giant Z's got to be Zarovich, yeah?
One would think.
Like,
Quinny,
yes.
from the door,
Yes.
with your save, you didn't see anything in the mirror,
Looks totally normal to me.
but you did hear a voice
Ooh.
in your head.
Oh, I love voices in my head.
And are absolutely compelled to follow what you've heard in your head to the letter.
Okay. Yeah, sure, that sounds entirely reasonable. I'm not entirely sure what this word is.
So I'll tell you. I'll message you later. Okay. Creepy
compelled
mirror.
to do that immediately or generally?
Generally.
Wonderful.
There's no compulsion to do it now.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Cool.
Burgomaster.
Nobody else heard anything.
Burgomaster. Now, let's do it.
Oh, there must be a staircase upstairs as well.
Give you some terribly strong poison and give you
No, that's down to this.
That's the one that goes down to the kitchen.
See?
Location-wise,
How are we getting the
so you
poison
have
to
not seen a staircase going up on this floor. So this comes up and then onto this landing here. And this goes down, which would be the one that went down, would have come up from the kitchen. So you can't see any way from the bit you've seen to go up. Okay?
This thing's the Burgomaster.
So this door
Oh, to be right at the top. There's another door.
is the door that the dog said was the Burgomaster's
Should be
room.
the door at the top corner.
Before we do that, how are we getting the poison to the Burgomaster? We have poison, we have the throat, but like...
And then you also have these rooms over here, should you be wanting to get around
Yeah.
there.
Can you ask the dogs where the staircase is to the scat?
I can, yep. Where's the attic? Come on, boys, where's the attic?
They get up and they head down the corridor and they start pouring at the door to the Burgomaster's room
Okay, that's interesting. Thank you.
and scratching at the door.
Don't do that. Down, boy, down. Go over there.
Have we
And
found,
they go
Look,
lie
it's a
down.
stick.
have we found the kids' room yet?
No. I reckon
We need to
maybe
take
the
it- we need to
Burgomaster...
take them up now.
We're working on it. Someone just want to open the door.
I got it.
Rogue, sneaky.
Which door? So you've got a door here, a door here, a door there.
So number one, you make four.
This door?
Yeah, that one.
Okay. So Ethidwe opens door number 1, which is not locked, and appears to be, behind door number 1 appears to be a very small, sweetly scented toilet. Sorry, yeah. There appears to be a sweetly... Sorry. I could just...
Alright,
there appears to be a sweetly scented toilet.
good plumbing.
Oh, that's way better. Sorry, from my angle.
Yeah, no, I don't.
see
There
much.
you go.
I couldn't see physical area either.
Splendid. Alright, so
Okay, I'll step back. So.
Next door.
door number 2.
Door number 2.
It's the holiday degree.
It's a new car.
Okay.
Certain dad.
So you open door number 2, and door number 2,
Oh, God.
it takes you into what you see. 2 people in bed. You see Lady the Baroness Vlakovic and in bed, and her husband. And there is a very nice bearskin rug on the floor. There appears to be a theme in the decor of this place. So they're currently asleep in bed. Roll a stealth check.
So once again, this is all well and good. How are we getting the poison to the gun?
That's it.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah, that would be 30 for stuff.
Anthony.
I'm not here.
Oh,
You've
you're
still got
doing
that plus 10 by the way.
Yeah, no, 30.
Oh, cool.
3,
Oh, so
0.
we're all staying outside the room?
Okay. All right. So you see them lying in bed. Nobody appears to have woken up. There's a small glass of wine on the bedside cabinet. You see a door up in this corner. Looking around, you can't see any sort of clothes or anything, so you would assume that's a closet of some description. Looking up at the ceiling, you can't see any obvious sort of access to an attic or a stairway or a ladder or anything like that in this room. Just a bed and a small table and bedside table.
Is the Burgomaster's mouth open?
Yeah, because he's on his back and he's snoring and he's being drugged.
He's been drugged.
Where he was given a sleeping draft by his wife, which you know because Zephyr told you.
In that case, I shall. I'll just kind of unstopper the poison and tip it gently. Oh, is it going to wake up?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to wake up.
Yeah, right. So
it's pour and then dump under the bed.
Why don't you just do it into the glass of wine?
Yeah, but you might drink it better.
He might not, but like,
Yes.
that's a chance.
Would it be better off just putting this vial of poison in, like, her clothing drawer or something?
Is he?
Sneaking the poison
so
to her, so
she
she has a vial of poison she can slip in his meal?
She doesn't know it's poison.
No, but if she can slip in the sleeping dress, she can slip in magic poison.
Yes.
Which is why
he
she
clothed?
poisoned herself.
Yeah.
I mean, I assume she just can't get poison. Like, it's not exactly in every corner shop.
Yeah,
Maybe.
the mirror's
Probably
maybe in
something else.
While
Yeah,
you're
do we want-
while
do we
you're
want to
standing
do
there, you see her open her eyes and go. This is like,
Okay.
hold. And she goes, and she gets out of bed.
Can I add her to my pass without trace at all? Is that a thing I can do?
Not at this point,
Cool.
because it's 30 feet at casting, I think.
Oh, it's 30 feet cast it. I thought it was just within 30 feet.
Well, hang on.
No.
Do we need to poison him?
So at this point, she gets out of bed. She gets out of bed, and she reaches down. She picks up what looks like a sort of house coat or a gown, and she goes, thank you, and she legs it.
Absolutely not.
She is
I'm assuming she goes through the hall that we're going through.
quietly, but
Yeah, nah.
and she starts moving down this hallway.
Quinny's stopping her as she
Okay.
actually comes past the neighbors. Well,
Okay.
hang on.
Okay, so you have a row
What are we-
with her in this corridor.
What do you want to happen? What is going on?
Get rid of my husband.
Get rid of it?
Get rid of my husband
What is it?
and save my son.
What is it? What's wrong? What's happening to your son?
Just get rid of my husband and save my son.
What's happening with your son?
You said you'd help.
We're going to help, but we need to know what's
She
happening.
needs a wisdom saving throw. Tell him. Command.
Okay.
Right.
11.
That is a fail. She's
Quietly.
He's a horrible, violent man. I was married here by my father, who just wanted a safe place for me, and he's horrible and he's nasty, and he just do everyone a favour and get rid of him.
Can I
Please.
insight check this?
Yeah. And she's getting more and more.
All the while, I'm sort of just going, this is taking a long time, and I'm really considering just slitting his throat.
24.
You think she is scared and she wants out.
So,
Okay,
I'm
do
like,
you want to
I'm
ask her
doing a
about
visual
the
chain to Quinny.
Slitting his throat, assassinate.
Okay.
Oh, you're doing it the hard way. Straight up death.
The poison be less effective.
Alright.
Yeah,
It's
but
gonna
it
Do you have
also-
somewhere to go?
it also-
Roll for an attack with advantage.
Oh, I think this is a terrible idea.
I don't think so.
Unless he's magical.
Assassinate
He
is pretty big.
didn't keep being magical.
With advantage, he said.
With advantage and sneak attack.
Well, if you hit, you crit, yeah?
Yeah.
16?
If it hits, he's a man in bed asleep.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
a crit. So it's max damage plus whatever you roll.
No, that's whatever I roll.
D4s. I mean, D6s for the sneak attack.
And you get max v sneak attack.
Okay, so straight after he does it,
Let him finish.
it's going to be bad.
Because it's basically happened while
Can I?
Yeah,
Can
just let
I
him
tell
around.
this is going on? Like, I can. I suppose I can't really line of sight.
Well, you're down.
But I
You're
would-
down
I
this
would
corridor
know-
going.
Okay.
What the fuck? You wanted us to come and poison your husband. Now you want us to murder your husband. And the dogs are like,
For a crit, does that double a sneak attack
Yes.
damage too?
yes,
No, maximum damage, whatever the maximum is that you can roll.
yes, it does.
So 18.
So you
and
get
then add the dice.
so
Their 4 plus 5 is 9, plus 18 is 27.
for your sneak attack.
That's for the total.
Yeah. and then you do the same for your sneak attack. So whatever your maximum sneak attack is,
No,
is that everything?
Maximum for everything is 27.
Yeah. And then whatever you roll.
So roll your sneak attack and your dice damage.
Yeah, but didn't we just say it's maximum?
No,
so
it's maximum plus your roll.
We do the
So instead of just rolling it twice on a crit,
Yep.
you roll your dice,
Yep.
and then you add your maximum damage to
so-
your
so
roll.
Whatever it is costs 27.
Yes.
basically.
Exactly that.
Carry on.
So now just roll it as normal. It gets rid of the really sad thing where you roll a 1 and you get to double it to a 2.
It makes crits feel like critical hits.
Yep. It's going to make this on a sleeping old noble dude feel.
19 plus 27.
46.
Okay. So how would you like to murder Baron Vlakovic?
Quick and efficiently.
So while everybody's going what to the wife, Etherdwe sneaks in and just looks at this. Essentially, now he's asleep. This like real old dude. You know, he looks much older than his sort of 40, 50 years, lying in bed, snoring, and just goes, stabs him in the throat from just one side. And he's like, and there's this bubbling noise and all this blood sort of comes up, and you look and you kind of wipe the knife on the
bed sheet.
On the bed sheets.
Ruining my clothes.
On the bed sheets and put it back and go.
Does he have his money first next week?
He had 16 hit points. He is like very dead.
Is he have like his purse on the side of his bed at all?
You can search the room if you want to.
There's a method to my madness here.
Yes.
Bash seeing this.
Yes.
Will then telekinetically float the ivory hairbrush he took out of the haunted house at the very start of the campaign.
Yes.
And lay it on the bed next to him.
Why?
Like a calling card for an assassin.
Okay.
You don't brush your hair. It's really to confuse the guards. Because the brush doesn't belong.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Throw the guards off.
It's a 12 for investigation.
Okay, so with a 12 for investigation, you find a key ring. You find 2 or 3 sort of chains, a necklace. There's no money in here, but there is.
Is the key ring got any keys on it?
There are some keys on it. There appear to be some sort of large keys that look like they would fit, like the front doors to the house, and then some very small keys that look like they would fit. Etherdwe would know. They would look more like manacles or a chest of some kind. It's a very small sort of jewelry.
As soon as all that's happened,
Yep.
The keys. And you said there was a couple of necklaces as
Yep.
well. We won't be needing them
he's
anymore.
going to grab Zephyr.
Yep.
We're going to the study.
Right.
Where is your son?
We're going
Before she leaves.
we
Don't know. He could be in his room, or he'll be upstairs working in his office. He sometimes sleeps up there.
What needs to happen to him?
Make sure he's
okay.
okay.
Is he staying here?
Make sure he's okay.
You're very unhelpful. Good luck out there.
What if the Burgomaster was the good guy and he's
I don't think the Burgomaster is the good guy. I think the son is the weird person.
differently.
Okay. So,
I feel like a commander.
sorry, Etherdwe, yes.
I might just.
No.
I'll leave him in the bed and I'll just pull up the blanket so that he is like.
He's very
You do
sleepy.
that.
Yeah.
Do you want me to
Okay.
get
And
rid
then
of
just
the body?
gently close the door
Okay.
behind me on the way out.
No.
No,
Are you looking at anything else on this floor?
no, you can just
I'm
vanish.
going to go upstairs.
Where,
You haven't
It's
found
just a
any
bad-
stairs up yet.
do you want me to get rid of the body?
So
What's the wife doing? She's
Open this door.
She will. I know she's staying in town. She's
Okay.
not there.
So while
Um,
there's blood spilling out on the floor,
Actually, no. While
Yep.
once everyone's done in that room,
Yes.
Quinn is going to just use a wild shape and get rid of the body.
okay, excellent.
You don't need to know how.
No one needs to know that information.
Okay,
So you
okay.
can't eat meat normally, but you're eating wild shape.
Wild shape's an amazing
There's
thing.
a jet of horse in the bed.
So
I'm checking his pockets beforehand and
Okay, yeah, there's nothing. He was in bed. There's nothing particularly exciting.
Straight from study.
So it's not a study. You go in and it looks like a closet. It's full of like fancy gowns, dress, finery, cloaks, and on the other side of this wall, you can hear what sounds like sobbing and sort of scratching and sobbing.
Can I do like an investigation?
There's a rope hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah, there's a door right there.
There's on the other side, yeah.
So the sobbing coming from the room.
So the sobbing's coming from here,
Yeah,
on the other side of this wall, and there
rope's
is
going
a trapdoor in the ceiling above.
I think the
Okay,
sobbing's
I
probably...
will go to the ceiling.
Okay,
If you
so
want the rope down, I can climb up on the ceiling pole.
you can just pull it, and it reveals a trapdoor, and sort of a ladder comes down.
Have the dogs broken charm yet if they don't know what's going on?
The dogs do not appear to have
I'm assuming
broken
Vash
charm.
communicates with me that the guy's been murdered.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Hey, dogs, go downstairs. Run out the front door and keep going as far as you like. Go on, it's a game. You go run as far away from you as you can. And just keep running. Just keep running. Go on, go now, come on. Go. Yeah. Do it, come on, go.
The
Sausages
dogs,
out there.
Yeah, there's sausages.
the dogs go legging it,
Thank
and they
God.
go legging it down the back stairs to the kitchen, and they know where the sausages are.
Wonderful.
So they
that's
disappear off down there.
I'm going up.
Going up.
I really
Does
think
someone
it's-
else want to go to the sobbing?
I'm
Or-
thinking-
I'll check
I'll
out
go
the
to
sobbing.
I'll go to sobbing.
Let's look at that.
Let's go team sob and you guys go team.
And then when we're done here, we can straight for his study downstairs.
Sob and Sip.
Okay.
If we're splitting the party, can I hypothetically link with one of you before I split?
Which half are you going with?
I think you have to be on the seat.
Yeah,
No,
to
just
see it
to
to
establish it.
Alright, so
not to maintain.
So who's going up?
So I just like run
Link
around.
with me.
Vash, Malachite, and I think Zephyr are going
Yeah.
up.
Okay. All right. We'll do this floor first, and then we'll send you three of those. So you're going around the other side
for the sobbing.
Yeah.
for the sobbing. So you go around here, and this door appears to be locked.
But I have keys.
Did you go up, or are you
No,
with
I'm
these?
not.
Two of us are going to the door,
You
three are gonna
you
go.
work your way through the keys, and absolutely, you can open that door. And
Keys.
when you get in there, you find
Yeah, and I could train
unlock, you bastard thing. On the other side of that door is a man looking really ill, manacled and cuffed in a corner.
Is this the
Victor?
guy?
He sort of looks up. His eyes are almost completely closed, Bruce. He's older. This isn't a 16-year-old.
Is this the guy we've seen?
Pardon?
The butler?
Butler?
It doesn't look like Lydia's description of the butler.
Well, you say, what is your name, sir?
Will healings do anything for this guy? Does it look like, or is he like profoundly ill? Like if I drop a cure wounds, will it do anything?
Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, he looks
Sorry,
physically
I cast cure wounds on him.
okay.
And he gets back 12 hit points.
He looks better, and he looks up and he's like, "Thank you." And he looks like he's been beaten within an inch of his life. His eyes are bruised. His arm was broken. He's missing a couple of teeth. He's manacled in a corner and chained to a wall. He's
Let me get these for you, sir. What's your name, by the way, as I work my way through the keys?
Udo. Udo.
What happened?
I was arrested. Isaac arrested me for spite, and he brought me here for reforming.
Well, he's not going to be any worry for anyone anymore. Let's get you out of
And I unlocked everything. So. Yeah. Going out. Be free.
Can you walk? With the hit
And
points?
he stands up. He stands up, and he's clearly really wobbly. And he's been here a while. So you look around, and there's sort of urine and feces. He's wearing ripped, tattered clothes. He's been badly bitten. He can walk. And he's like,
Do you have
thank
somewhere
you.
to
Yes, I have friends. I know. Yes.
And then we remember his hand and he got used.
I think you want to give it some money. Some of them
There's 2 silver pieces. It's all I can spare. I'm a street urchin myself.
Here's 5 gold pieces. Stay safe.
Thank you. That's
Look, I don't have a lot of gold, and I'm trying to do a good deed, but I'm very poor.
Like Monty Burns.
You are
Anyone got change for a button?
okay. So he's hobbling his way. So Udo is hobbling his way down.
Hang on. Before I send him there, are these dogs going to maul him if I'm not present to tell them not to?
Well, you've sent them off.
Cool.
They've run off down the street. They went down the back stairs and have gone out through the
Cool.
kitchen.
I just want to make sure I wasn't about to
So it's this guy. He's beaten, he's battered, and he's bruised. But and he's hobbling off. He's hobbling out of here and going. Okay, so while you're on this floor, I'm assuming you're going to end up in the attic at some point. Do you want to open any of the other doors while you're down here?
I'm good, I think.
Or are you happy?
I thought we go join him in the attic.
Okay.
I didn't ping any other magical stuff, so there's really nothing left to grab.
The only other person that you know, so in terms of rooms that you think should be here, would be Victor's bedroom potentially, and Isaac's room, because Isaac also lives here. Because Isaac also lives here.
Isaac? I thought Isaac was the Baron.
Isaac Strasny, the head of the guard,
Oh,
the one who's been making
That's
dolls.
Can I like? I'm keen to just sort of while we're here, I will have a little peeky inside.
So you saw him leave.
Yeah.
And the Baron says that he lives here, and
Finish him off as well.
Can I do a little peeky inside
We
each
don't know if
room,
he might
Emma?
come back.
He could have come back any
Can I
hour.
do a little sneaky peeky inside each room?
yeah,
while
with
we're here?
pleasure.
I will.
So as you're walking back down the corridor, you just, kicking the, opening the doors. You can't hear anything as you're on this floor. I have more batteries. I'll just replace your batteries. Here you go. I'll trade you.
No, that's all
No,
right.
you're fine. I've got new batteries, so I'll trade you. There you go. So as you're walking, as Ethelred's walking back along this corridor, opening doors as he goes willy nilly. You look in this room. This appears to be a bedroom. It doesn't look like it's really being slept in. It's very posh. It's well appointed. It's got very nice sheets with a high thread count. You would guess this is probably Victor's room. As opposed to a guard's room. Nothing appears to be there. It also doesn't look like it's used very often. It looks almost like a showroom. This door... What's that?
I said something's got to be up with this kid.
Oh, for sure.
Or he's just hiding upstairs, but away from his dad. Or his dad's locked him upstairs.
But then who
This
is
room on this side
I don't think it's the guard.
looks like a library of some description or a study. There's books. There's a desk in the centre. There's a small oil lamp, and there's some sort of papers and an inkwell and things on a desk. Feel free to.
I can't read, so I'll
That's fine. We leave it, and you can always come back to it.
Let's come back.
This door is locked.
Well, I'll use my keys to unlock it.
You haven't got a key to this room.
I'll pick it all up.
Isaac's room.
There are many ways to unlock the lock.
Isaac's room.
You
better hope he's not in there.
Sleight of hand.
Do we finish him off with this?
That would be
Burgomaster,
29.
captain,
you
disappearing
pick the lock without any great difficulty, and as you walk into that room, there's a sort of a cot in the corner with a bed and a small bare table, and then the whole room, shelf upon shelf upon shelf upon
Dolls.
shelf, it's like looking at an entire shop full of Harleen dolls.
Of Harleen dolls.
Only Harleen?
Only Harleen.
Whoa.
Oh, God.
And this happens to be the time that Harleen's not actually here.
Right, she didn't want to come to here anyway.
Are they all identical?
No, they're not all identical. And it's you...
Different outfits, but same face.
No,
Summer
as you look
Harleen.
around, you can see
Snow Bunny
these
Harleen.
ones.
Shocking Harleen.
No, it looks like Harleen's got older as this has gone on, and there's scars that have appeared and a tattoo that appears to have appeared on some of these dolls, and the detail has got more. So the early ones looks like some of the things you saw in Blinsky's store that he was like selling to the general public, like roughly carved things for like 3 copper pieces, and you're just like, it's a bit shit, like a stocking toy or a Kinder Egg thing. But now we're into these really detailed, very similar to the one that you found the head of, but these are full dolls. So you found the head of, but these are full dolls, and certainly the last 12, the last 12 or 13 of them seem to be. You remember he had a puppet show when he was trying to make money outside his shop that he trashed, and he had marionettes. The last collection of these appear to be all jointed and now be marionette version.
So,
and you can see there's a huge, great hammer up the back.
He has some sort of connection to her, and he's getting these commissions being made.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
And Blinsky's getting better at reading what he wants, so he's making better dolls.
What are we doing with
That
these?
makes sense.
Do we leave them here?
And that's all there is on this floor.
No, I'm more concerned with the creepy resemblance to the person we've been travelling with.
You're asking
Probably
me
got some
10-year-old.
kind of
I
say.
know.
I don't know.
You can have a think about
I just
it.
want your moral judgment.
And
I don't know.
Isaac has
You're asking
actually
a
laid
thief for
eyes.
my
This is
moral-
well articulated.
A thief who's just slit a man's throat
Yeah.
about
Pardon?
my moral judgment.
Isaac hasn't laid eyes
I
on
ate the
Harleen
man, so we're not the most.
No.
We've never
qualified
encountered
to this
No.
now.
No, you haven't.
properly.
You haven't encountered him, but she is currently staking out the guardhouse where he's playing cards.
Oh, next week's going to be interesting.
Just, while you're about to head up to the attic.
Let me grab the most.
No, don't grab one. He'll know. He'll know.
Couldn't you like cool conjures fire into her hand for a minute and then just? Alright. Should we get up the attic?
A quick trip to the attic.
We're up in the attic.
All right, put you all in the attic. So you climb up this ladder into this attic, and in this attic you can just see this. It's very dark, very dark. There's no real light up here at all. You can see.
Basher's crouched very low.
Okay, you can see the outlines.
I'm not crouched.
No,
He's crouched.
if you crouched, nobody'd be able to see you.
Yes,
Um,
he's ready to launch over.
Blind sight, so.
okay.
You're good.
We've
No, I
done
can
what we
honestly
have to do.
just
Turn
turn
a light on.
But like if someone.
Shall we just turn a light on?
Yeah, I think I should just do light.
We must.
Cool. Quinny calls conjures flame. Light up.
Yeah, I'll do light then.
Okay.
The Basher has
There
his
you go.
hands behind his back like this. 2 Eldritch Blasts ready to go.
Okay.
Cat myself.
So you come up into this. It's a real attic, and all around. She's gone. She
Oh, you
booked it.
didn't stop it.
What the
we-
fuck?
We commanded her to tell the truth, and I got a 28 insight, and it all looked above board. So I think.
Oh,
we're
you let
good.
it go. Okay.
In
Now,
this-
it's possible she had something weird going on. but,
This
like,
this is an attic room, and it's just stuff strewn. There's stuff strewn everywhere. There's what appears to be a door at the far end. There appears to be a small room over here in the corner, which is open. There isn't a door to that. You can look in there, and there's just lots of stuff. It's all covered in white sheets, The whole room is just cobwebs in the ceiling and just chairs and bits of furniture that are broken, all covered in almost like white dust sheets.
Small bedroom? Should we check out the small bedroom, or do you want to have a look under these sheets? It's got to be. Victor's got to be up there, sure.
Yeah.
Cool. What are we doing as a kid? We just tell them to run. What's the point?
See how what he's doing.
All right, let's do it. I think we're more or less fine with stealth now. Are there 2 queens?
Might be.
There is.
I'll take this one out.
Never
I lost track of how many I pulled across. You can have
Yeah.
you can have Quinny and Quinny wild shaped Quinny.
Wild shape, so they glitched for a second.
Double
You told
conjure
them
animals.
So
Yeah.
you were an animal in one.
So
So
Quinny,
what happens if you like something like conjure animals, like polymorph? Can you double polymorph, like twin cast it?
You could twin cast polymorph, yeah.
Because the target
You
use
just have to
twin
shoot a
stuff.
different target, or
Yeah, so you could polymorph yourself and something else.
so
would you layer the polymorphs?
you actually came up into this sort of little area.
You can't poly.
Oh, cool.
So
So
the
is
the
there any sign of
attic
Victor around here?
no, the ladder's up in this corner. The ladder's up in this corner. There's a small table. There's a little oil lamp burning, but nothing else in there. Yeah,
There's a ladder going up.
that was where you've just come up
Oh,
from below. That's the ladder going down.
So it's going through the
I'm going the door.
Oh, right, I thought we came through that door. Cool.
No, we came up from the ladder.
Oh, okay, awesome. I'm going to stand really far away. No, I'm not.
Can I do
Okay.
an investigation on this?
I can go in
this
first.
room?
On the room? Yeah,
Yeah.
you can roll an investigation check in the room.
Like if there's any sheets that look like.
I would like to do that as well, if that's
I'm
okay.
going to be standing close to the back, and
My
I'm
investigation
still
sucks.
maintaining
Can I
the
give a help action
the
instead?
percentage in my hands.
So I get. Oh, that was in that 20.
Oh, cool.
24. I don't need help.
So streaks
You-
of lightning running up and down
so-
my arms because I'm ready to unleash.
You find something that immediately catches your eye. It's like a pin, like a brooch or a cloak pin, that is a dragon with claws coming all the way round, and it glows in this very odd sort of purple. As you turn it, it catches the light with this sort of very odd purple shimmer.
Detect magic.
It's magical.
You want to identify it or fight the pass spell? And at the same time, can you,
Mm-hmm.
at the start of the session,
Mm-hmm.
you read out that
Mhm.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be able to repeat it again? Because there was something about the darkness.
Your thing.
Hard reading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there's
Okay.
something about the darkness where it's all well or something like that.
I thought that was the abandoned house with the historian. There'll be a friend. You'll find a
So-
friend in the dark.
I'm not ritual casting this. I'm properly casting Identify. So it takes a minute.
Shows change, gradual or sudden, for good or ill, rebellion against the established order. There is a town where all is not well, a house of corruption, and within, help rests in a dark room full of still ghosts.
All the white shapes.
Oh, the white sheets, the pin.
Yeah.
I was
So
going to say
how
that,
does-
or it's metaphorical.
So
it's
this
the
is
dude
I'm
who
identifying
just-
the pin.
Okay,
This is the help with it. Yeah, that's why I wanted it repeated because there was something about this in the house.
so this is an insignia of claws.
Mm-hmm.
So this gives you a +1 and turns your fists into fully magical weapons.
Well,
Oh,
no, that's
just- This is an item in D&D.
Bashful casually passes back to Zephyr. This will make your fists magical.
What'd you say it was called?
Insignia of claws.
So make your fists.
So it's a +1 bonus to attack and damage with unarmed strikes and natural weapons, and such weapons are now considered to be magical.
Nice.
So it
Unarmed
plus
strikes are
1
magical.
to unarmed strike and natural weapons. Yeah,
Natural weapon.
yeah. So
As
if you hands and fists,
Okay.
+1, and they're considered magical.
Oh.
So it makes all your unarmed attacks magical attacks.
So it bypasses any non-magical
Resistance to non-magical bludgeoning and piercing.
Do monks not get that by default?
They get that at level 6. Level 6 of monk.
Yeah.
Levels of ranger is on par with level 6 monk.
What do we got? We got 2 multi-classes and 4 straight classes.
Oh, are you for straight? Oh,
Yeah, straight druid, straight cleric, straight
So you find that. Anybody else
I'm
looking?
I'll give it a go. Oh, sorry, I get a help action. Never mind.
So we're going.
You going straight for the door?
I'm absolutely going to take a minute and look around if that's fine.
Yeah, of course.
No way for just breezing through this room full of mysterious items. 18.
You find.
Does that mean that the sun's a ghost?
You find
Yeah,
a
yeah,
blindfold
why
that
it
looks
helped me.
fascinating to you.
Alright. Just put that in the pack and I have no idea what that is.
Door.
Yeah, alright, fire enough. Let's do it. 1 wild shape left and not enough
Okay.
space.
As you walk up to the door, there's this
Does detect magic ping? Because I've got it up for 10 minutes.
detect magic pings at that door.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Slow down.
There's a huge skull carved onto the door. There's a clue.
I don't think touching this door is good.
And written in white, it looks like it's been chalked on in sort of really angry sort of letters, is all is not well. Enter and die.
Okay, I was going to say I like the kid, but that's maybe not. Do I just like...
And you can hear a voice and somebody walking around on the other side of this
Can
door.
I do an investigation check for traps?
Yes.
I never
You
got
can.
actual diplomacy, but that too.
16?
With a 16, you see a really small bit of engraving. You initially thought it was just like a knot in the wood, but when you look at it really closely, it actually looks like a glyph that's built into the sort of forehead of the skull, where the bridge of the nose would be. And you think that this door is trapped.
Can I do an Arcana check on it? To see if it's
Yep.
a magical trap?
Yep.
I have Dispel Magic, but I don't have a 3rd level slot.
24 for Arcana.
You think this is a magical trap, and
Can I discern a way to disable it?
you think this is probably some kind of warding glyph that would activate if somebody tried to get into
Let's
this room.
just talk to the kid. Yeah, that's good with people.
No.
You're good with people.
I will
Die.
I will knock on the
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
on the
Oh,
wall
good.
next to the door. I won't touch the door. It'll be doors here. I knock on the wood next to it.
Keep it up.
You hear a voice go, Mom, I've told you not to come up here when I'm working. Mom, go away. I've told you not to.
I'm not your mother.
Then who are you? And what are you doing in our house? And when my father gets hold of you?
First of all, your mother sent us here to make sure you are safe. Secondly, your father isn't here.
Delicately.
Your father isn't here. I'm not wrong, because he's not.
Victor, we're friends of your mother. Would you mind opening the door?
There's this sort of shuffling noise, and you are so bad.
Well,
And-
clearly, the door is just
magically
protected itself.
Can I
But he does know
And the door creaks open, and you see this kid with this sort of dirty sort of shock of sort of dark hair and this ridiculous purple robe.
Ah,
Like
beautiful.
ridiculous, proper bell sleeves and
He thinks it's some sort of mage.
Might be.
It's some
He
magic.
he trapped the door well enough
I
we
mean,
couldn't get in. Like,
He's got some magical talent that is
no,
damn
but
sure.
we couldn't get rid of it. Victor, your mum's had to go away for a bit. You should go stay with your uncle.
I don't have an uncle.
Your
Who
mother has
are
a brother?
you?
At the
I'm
church?
not going to the church. I am old enough to look after myself. If they're out the house, so much the better. I can get on with my work. Thank you for letting me know.
Exactly are you working on?
Send Hilda up with some food.
Hilda has had to go away as well. As has your father and the rest of the household staff. You will be here by yourself if you stay.
Well, who's going to bring me stuff?
Well, that's why I suggested you go to the church.
I don't want to go to the church.
Well,
I'm
that's
not going
a,
to
that's
go
a
and
decision
see.
you'll have to make.
Now,
All right, I think we're done.
Vash will levitate something in his hand. I'm something of a practitioner of magic myself. What are you working on? I could help.
Do you tell?
Depends on what you're working on.
Working on a way to get out of here. That's what I'm working on.
A way to get out of the house or
Out of
the greater area, so to speak.
Working on a way to get out of here. Who would want to stay here forever?
Well, certainly not any of us.
we have all found ourselves trapped here quite recently, as it happens.
Well, you know it's a shithole then, don't you?
That is definitely one way of putting it.
I like this kid.
Vash is really starting to like this kid really quickly.
Are you close at all?
Where did you learn this glyph work? It is incredible.
And he sort of perks up a bit and goes, It's something I've been working on.
Self-taught in magic? That's quite impressive.
Yeah, I do my thing. I do my thing. Yes.
I would also like to insight that if that's okay. 19.
Oh, that's a 23.
Yeah.
You self-taught.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, are you able to do this little trick? And I'll use minor illusion
Not just on Red Tube.
to recreate a bottle of wine. So just it's not real cleaning. I'm sorry.
Look, it's been a long day.
He smiles and goes, I'll show you something. And
By all means.
opens the door and lets you in.
And you appeal into the magic within the I want to see what he's up to.
I'll move you all in.
If I can disrupt it sneakily, I'm going to.
So you walk in and there's papers everywhere. And there's papers everywhere. There's books everywhere. There's papers everywhere. There is potentially something.
That cat?
It's cat skeletons.
Those are my cats.
Oh, I'll go and talk to them in cat and see if they still talk cat.
They go, fuck! In a kind of meowy cat noise.
Are you alright?
No!
Can he understand us? Can I look over at him and do an insight check to see if he can understand me talking to these cats?
Yeah. And these cats are wandering around and they're sort of clanking and clattering a bit. On the table, you can see just like a whole pile of bones.
That's only a 12.
And no, they're undead cats.
That's only a 12.
You see him, he looks proud.
Mm-hmm.
Necromancy in particular fascination of yours?
I've been working on a lot of stuff. I made these skeleton cats. There's loads of bones around. So you get some bones and then you put them all together and then you kind of
necromancy
reanimate them.
Is normally very frowned upon.
Are you okay?
Are you asking him or the cat?
The cats.
And then one of the tailbones falls off and they sort of slink off into a corner.
I understand it's quite an achievement of magic, but
shit.
I think you're they're suffering.
He goes, and walks over and just boots one. It just falls to pieces into a million bones.
Could have just let go of the spell.
I'm going to cast
And he laughs.
So what else have you been working on?
Shithead.
Small amounts of necromancy.
No, not
Oh, this is Victor.
Mr. Victor, sir.
Yes. Sorry.
Speaking of...
Do you do arcane magics? And he goes,
I'm fully
When
casting
he's-
a spell when he kicks the cat. I'm going to cast Entangle.
okay.
I'm wrapping up.
So that the bodies all like get caught and shit.
No, on the kid.
I like...
Make
Little-
a dex save.
Quinny.
Strength save, sorry.
This is the time where I'm scared.
Little,
Let's see if we can talk.
little 3-foot me
Yeah.
does a trick I learnt where I did the whole remove the thumb thing. Like, ooh. I learned this at the faded cherry.
I'm sure it is.
You probably did. It was a euphemism. I thought it was teaching you magic, but it wasn't.
So that's going to be a fail.
Wonderful.
I
On a
can't.
strength
He's-
save.
A bunch of vines crawl out of the
But
ground.
Mr. Victor, sir, speaking of undead stuff or clones, you wouldn't happen to know where we could find the body of a Herrick, would you, in this house?
Who?
You used to
Who?
be the head
And
count.
what do you think you're doing?
What do you
And
think you're doing?
everybody make a wisdom save. I'm assuming everybody's in there.
Is that magic?
It is a spell.
Beautiful.
That's a great fail.
That is a 28.
Okay.
Critical success.
19.
Okay.
16.
Mm-hmm.
Wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can advantage on wisdom
Mm-hmm.
saves. Oh.
He's going to make me do it, isn't he?
Well, neither of them were good.
He's going to make me do it.
We'll do what likes.
Don't my form of threat.
I would suggest it, yeah.
Scared as shit.
He might be one of our tickets out of.
I know, but
Zephyr,
I only
what's
just
your
read
wisdom?
it.
What's your wisdom save?
11.
Okay.
I'm only just
So,
scaring me to submission.
what would be Zephyr and Malachi's worst fear?
Oh.
Gay
Come on.
Fucking Catholics. I mean, Morning Lord.
No,
I don't think the
Probably
Morning
so.
Lord has a specific dictat about homophobia.
no, I think no, it'd be
would
like,
be
it'd be
weird.
like, some,
Yes.
like just demons and stuff. I think.
Okay.
Like general, like, infernal, like horrific.
Fair enough. So Malachi immediately perceives that
This
the
is where you
Morning
start.
Lord is standing in front of him and going, "You have failed me. You have failed me and should no longer be in my service." And these roaring sort of hellfire flames seem to erupt all around you, and a big black gaping maw opens by your feet and goes, "Be gone." And that's what you see. What's Zephyr's greatest fear?
Malachi, you
It would
good?
be him realizing
Trying to
that
concentrate.
his knowledge of the world is wrong.
Ooh.
Interesting. So, as you're standing there, you don't really see anything. You're just suddenly seized by this crippling self-doubt and the compelling urge to go and look in books and check, and things that you were really sure about now suddenly you're just like, I don't know if I can do that anymore. And you try to speak telepathically and you're like, I'm not sure that works. That's not how it works. I don't think I can do this anymore. And you're like, you just feel that you have to, you can't do anything
Secret
completely.
fear in the both of them.
Oh yeah.
So Vash would walk up calmly to the boy, very calmly, and run his finger down the boy's cheek. You want to learn a thing about fear, boy? Activate his form of dread.
Okay.
So his hair goes.
He's torturing cats!
His hair goes.
He's
complete-
torturing cats!
His hair goes completely white. His fangs
No,
extend.
they're
His eyes
torturing
go
it.
blood
Still
red.
cats.
That's a parlor trick, boy. Let me show you what real fear looks like.
Wisdom?
No, I haven't touched him yet.
Oh,
This
just
is
form of
pure
dread.
intimidation.
Oh, all right then. Roll an intimidation
Pure
check.
intimidation.
Roll an
Help
intimidation
action-
check.
Help action that by having him wrapped up in vines.
Can do. I don't mind. Yeah, you can roll an intimidation check.
Help actions, rather.
Yes, yes, yeah. No, you can do that.
Ryan,
Oh,
do you get that?
that's good. That's good.
Where
That's a
if
24 in
someone
intimidation.
is to dress in a way that is not appropriate
Now,
for their
release
gender,
the spell you have cast upon
they
my
are
friends.
going to bounty it.
Is this in the Texas states? Yeah.
You think you know how to mess with
So they've already
undead?
bounty.
Now you
like,
face a
$2,000
real.
You can report people and they get put in jail.
He looks at
They've done
you
the same for abortion too.
and goes,
Illegal abortion.
there is nothing that you can do.
This is what happens.
So it's like Caitlin, if Caitlin was a mage, right?
So far.
They're really
There's nothing that you can do that my father and grandfather have not already done.
Oh, would
So,
you like to place a bet?
whatever.
Bashful point
I don't live in America, so
and say only one word.
Mhm.
Release.
it doesn't matter.
Command.
And there's other countries that have worse laws than that. So.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty fortunate I live in Australia.
With a save of
16 for wisdom.
fails, spell drops.
Now, do we want to run that bet past me again that I can't do something to you that your parent and grandparent didn't do? I just forced you to release a spell.
He just looks sulky, like really sulky,
That's fair.
and goes, fine. It's not my fault. Came up here and messed with my stuff. It's my stuff. It's my room.
We understand that. We were here to check on you for your mother.
What's she care? He's not intimidated. He's not frightened. He's just
Which
sulky and pissed off that he had to release his spell.
perplexes Vash a little bit.
He's not really frightened. He's just sulky.
Have you
Am I
seen...
frightened? Is that the condition?
That's now
No,
dropped.
I made the spell drop.
So your vision vanishes, and suddenly you feel like your sort of knowledge is more certain.
Okay.
Vash will look at the boy. Have you seen my kind before?
Is your kind all over this land? Knocking around.
Valid point, but is there a particular one you've seen? The one who shall not be named?
Oh, you mean Strahd, who lives in the castle? Well, yeah, obviously.
Through the mirror downstairs?
Well, yeah, that goes to his bedroom. Have you found that?
I have
Don't know
a
why
way-
my mum keeps it.
So your mother speaks to him?
Well, I guess so. It's their dressing room, isn't it? I don't do it. Phew. Got better things to be doing.
Wrong person.
If she can lie through a command and a 28 insight, I don't think we could beat her in a fight.
Yeah.
No. And that's exactly what you got. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's a ridiculous
And she
deception
failed the
roll,
command because I knew
and
she
getting
failed.
past
Yep.
and getting through command, which
Yep.
is an 8th level spell. or
You
some-
are fairly bloody certain
Mhm.
that she was genuine.
Okay.
That she was frightened of him
Mhm.
and that she wanted him dead. And
Uh,
that she wanted to out.
I'm
So
gonna-
you are still confident about that. Yeah.
I'm gonna turn to the boy and be like, your mother does not seem to like your father very much. Has something been going on? What's the story like? What with your dad?
Oh god, my dad's just, have you seen this dump? My dad's like a power hungry, violent shithole. I mean, he like beats her, he beat me, that's why I stay up here all the time, looking for a way out of this shithole dive. I mean, really? Would you stay here if you could get out?
I mean, I can't argue with the child's assessment. I really can't.
So
They tried to set me up with Stella. That was her.
Are you responsible for her moments?
What moments? She never
She's
had
been-
any moments while
She's
she was
been
here.
kneeling in the streets and screaming, whacking things away from her head. You do seem to have a rather good knack for fear.
Well, everybody has to practice, I guess.
You experimented on your prospective wife.
It wasn't my idea of a wife.
Is there a window nearby?
Not a pit. There are windows at the end, yeah, like really small skylight windows, yeah.
and what's your? But if something were to befall your family,
Someone needs,
Fabulous.
someone
fabulous?
needs to teach this boy ethics when it comes to magic.
Fabulous. That would be amazing. Has something befallen my family?
I think he needs to talk to the priest.
And he looks at you and he goes,
Should we take him to the priest?
The priest is right then.
you'd understand. And he sort of he moves the rug out of the way, and on the floor is what looks like a really rudimentary teleportation circle under the rug.
That's quite interesting.
That
Surely maybe that's it.
Eventually.
I said, as someone who's wandered through planes on occasion, could it be that simple?
well, it should be. I have studied hard enough,
cool. Let's
but it's not working the way I need it to work.
Okay. So I may need
They're
to...
just not going where they should.
Might need to point out something to you. You do know Strahd has a very powerful hold on these lands, yes? He's what's stopping you from leaving.
Yeah, I'm just... Well, this one, I've got... And he pulls out this book, and this book...
He's right.
Oh, sorry. It's like... Pulls... Can you try book? Book!
And I'll telekinetically pull it out.
Fine.
And open it in front of him.
Okay. I can't figure this bit out.
I'll
So,
drop the restraint spell.
thank you.
Which part are you confused about here?
And then he looks down and like the vines have like ripped a tear in his robes, and he's like,
I'll use prestidigitation
I'm just going
to
to
fix
point
the,
at the
fix
pile
the
of
robes.
robes that was a cab.
I'll use prestidigitation to bend them a little bit.
and he's like, I'm not trying to get out yet. That's a bit hard. I'm just trying to get it to go somewhere, and I know it's not working yet because, well, like,
Okay, so I'm going to roll...
I've tried it. Well, I've not tried it, but I've tried it, and it just hasn't worked.
I'll roll Arcana to see if I can figure out what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
This is above my level.
Yeah. Way above. Yeah.
I'll leave you guys to
It's a dirty
make
20.
it not really my thing.
Okay.
I'm going to go to the library and retrieve much of that.
Okay. With a dirty 20, you're just like, this looks like it's nowhere near, and this just looks frankly dangerous. There's like big chunks of, you're like, this can't be. I don't know how to do it, but this can't be right. There's chunks that just don't add up. There's way stuff missing here. This just doesn't look right. And he's just like this. Like,
I tell you what, there will come a day where I'm able to do something like this. There will come a day.
yeah.
If you can lay off the necromancy and
And
experimenting on other people,
And reverse
Well-
what you did to Stella.
and
Well, how else am I going to test my circle if I don't have other people?
listen,
How can I test if it goes
Who
anywhere?
has you tried to take through the circle?
All the stuff is
Yeah, I wanted to say it.
Well, is that what you said?
yes.
Well, William was fuck all used to anyone anyway. He was like really old. So he
Right.
came up and I just offered him like a trip, and he stood on the rug and it went. And he's like talking to you like this is really interesting. The fact that William's involved is like over there. It's really interesting because this lit up, but this bit didn't really light up. And then then he exploded, but it did light up, which is more than it did when Anna was here. It didn't even do that.
Okay. So
Could a person fit through this window nearby?
It's a bit small. It's more of a real sort of attic.
Now,
This house made of wood or stone?
This house is made of stone. The floor's made of wood.
Victor, I need you to listen to me very carefully.
Yeah.
I understand what you're trying to accomplish, but it's well beyond what you're capable of doing right now. Okay? Now, you need to listen. I will eventually be able to do this. If you lay off the necromancy, stop experimenting on people, and go hang out with your uncle at the church, listen, when I learn how to do this, I will teach you.
It's fine. Like you've said that, like mom and dad are like bugging off. I'll just stay here in the house on my own. I can get my work done. Nobody to bother me. It'll be fine.
How would you like your work expedited by having someone teach you how to do it? So I will learn how to do this very soon.
Yeah, still staying here. Not going to stay with Uncle Lucian. No way. No way. So,
Can anyone carry this? How's your strength score? Can anyone carry this kid?
Unfortunately, no. I can levitate him and we can just drag him along with us.
You're going to be coming to the church. We don't.
That's up to the priest.
Redemption.
Everyone deserves
People
redemption.
can be better.
So I will use my sit turn to cast levitate on the boy, and I'll grab him by the ankle.
I'd suggest before you do that, I'll restrain him. In fact, actually, sorry, as you go to cast that spell, I'll restrain at the same time if I can. So, strength
fine.
save for the restraint.
he'll fail at strength save. He's like an emo teenage boy.
So I'll grab him by
And
the
he's
scruff
got like...
and I'm just dragging the levitating boy out the house.
He is kicking and he's swearing. He's like, you can't do this to me. You can't do this. You can't do it to me. No.
So he's obviously not
18.
Oh, we passed.
Can I have a look? There are more cats that are like animated currently.
There's one more that's animated, one that's pile of bones.
Can I go with the animated one?
Yep.
And talk to him?
Yeah,
See if
you
he's
can.
capable of like
Someone
getting close to conversation.
boy's mouth to shut him up.
And say, hey, you okay?
Make sure he can still
What do you
breathe.
need?
Kill me.
Oh god. Quinny says some words in Sylvan and fireballs the cat.
So are we still in the house? We're still taking this kid to the
We're
priest?
taking it to the church, yeah?
Okay.
Malachi, would you do the honours of taking the child? To the church.
I don't think the kid's got no. I think I need to go to the prison to check that out. Just to see what they do.
You go accidentally drop him on his head down the stairs. Bang! Bang!
Like, there was a Burgomaster.
I think he's turned him into a hot air balloon.
Pretty much.
Oh,
yeah.
You drag him down on a
If you do
string.
anything funny, I'm going to
quickly
show you
look Zephyr.
psychic damage really
Find
fast.
if we can find property or somewhere where Herod's body could be stored.
I think that's probably a question for the prison, yeah.
That's what I'm going to do a quick through the stuff.
Okay, do a quick investigation check.
Can I, before we leave...
Are you investigating up here or
I was going to
downstairs?
say, yeah,
Or
before
okay,
we leave,
go on
I'd
then.
like to have a look around.
Yeah, that's fine.
Check there's not anything terrible.
Yep.
Oh, hell yeah. Dirty 20.
Okay, you find in Victor's room, you find a whole a collection of bones of a variety of sources, just kind of like in a big box, like almost like a toy box that is repurposed in the corner. There are human bones in there of varying ages.
Before I walk away from Malachi.
Some of them are broken. You would roll medicine check.
Before I walk away from Malachi,
Yep.
Vash will clearly look Malachi dead in the face and say, "Tell him the truth. Everything this child has been up to. Everything."
12.
You, with the 12 in medicine, you think some of these bones have been broken, very much like the Udo that you found downstairs. You think that this is that he's got this huge supply of bones from whoever's been tortured in the room next to the master bedroom, opposite Isaac's room, in the house, and that he's just taken them all up here. You have no idea particularly whether or not Herods are in there, but these are of a variety of ages, some more recent than others, some very old.
Okay, we'll take the bones to be
That's
buried
fine.
anyway.
Have you still got his book?
Whose book?
Because you took his book off him. Okay. If you flick through, if you're sort of flicking through his, and we'll wrap it up. Because it's late. As you're flicking through that book, you're there's this sort of almost this tale of it's half spell book, half like teenage angst diary. Lots. Well, yeah, but as you're, there's this, oh God, they've found new ways to drive me mad. This is just shit. They've got her voice, her this, and there's clearly all this stuff about, why have they sent this vapid little young girl up to interrupt me? I am studying to be an all-important mage. And as you skim through this, it would appear that he spent a good 6 months practicing his person-based wizardry on Stella.
Jesus.
So has cast fear in combination with modify memory. So she knows that she's frightened but doesn't know exactly what of. And phantasmal sort of, and laughing at her having these horrible visions in the street, and
he's actually a pretty high level spellcaster.
And then he figured out how to dominate person, but that was a bit stressful according to this diary, because he couldn't dominate person and modify memory at the same time. So he would dominate person and then get her to do stupid stuff, so she would be too embarrassed to tell anybody. So he got her to pretend. He got her to pretend to be a cat. He got her to pretend to be a cat so she could hang out with his skeleton cats and not bother him while he was working. And then she started turning into a cat spontaneously. And he didn't even have to tell her to do it. She just sort of, and then one day apparently she got stuck as a cat, and nobody's really seen her since. And he's a bit, it's a bit of a shit. And the sort of last entry is
He accidentally cast true polymorph on?
No. He dominated. So the story goes that he used dominate person to get her to behave like a cat, and that in combination with fear and a few other bits and pieces, eventually she just started being a cat, because that seemed to be much easier than any of the other stuff. And then one day she just kind of stayed a cat, and then she stopped coming back, and he's a bit pissed off because he'd only just got used to her, and now he's not. Now he's got no one to practice on anymore.
Investigation in the study was a 24.
Okay. There are some books and pieces, and there are some papers, particularly around some of the people who have been reformed at the house, and Isaac's role in that. So yeah, I'll send those to you, so you find those.
But, yeah, we're taking this kid to the priest because he needs some help.
I think you and your you and the church can deal with him.
I just heard. I'm gonna deal with him. There's no way he's
you and Lucian can have that.
Between you and Lucian, don't be wrong, Vash would very much like to end the boy's life, but
you and Lucian can
he's not.
It's not Lucian's.
He's the product of a very broken.
Well, you're more senior to Lucian.
Vash doesn't see.
Well, you've got him floating down the street.
Yeah, I'm tempted. I think I might just kill him before I open the investigation.
You can do that.
That's going to lead to a really fun character conversation.
You can do that.
Honestly,
you
Vash
are
should
welcome
go. Honestly, Vash should go. I would have preferred you to end Lucian.
Rather than
Well, I was thinking inflict wounds at level 3 as well. Because I'm holding him currently at the moment, and I've got 2 level 3.
Oh, well, you're holding on to his ankle.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he's been using necromancy, some necrotic damage.
Now that Vash has read
for an eye,
now that Vash has read his journal, he's kind of, if you do that, and Vash go, read this, and I agree with you.
Why are we
Yeah, well, I haven't
library?
seen that. It's the one thing
Because I
that's
want to see
like,
if there are any books about Strahd or any like military journals or anything else in the house.
I think the mother was why he's coming to life.
Sure, but I just want to see if there's any like documents of any
okay.
kind.
Yes, I can't work that out.
I was going to ask the kid too.
I want to go
Maybe
with the
she
mirror
was
was.
trying to get
Thanks for
Strahd
trying
killed.
to